can draw a line under it. This session 25 is I think at the end of session 10 or 9 or 10 we kind of drew a line into the first chapter, like the first arc. That was where you defeated Lord Goma and helped Brethwin retake the throne. And kind of chapter 2 is everything from there. Going to the lighthouse and all of that stuff, and the goblins and things. So this point, coming into Kala, I see that as another end of another chapter and the beginning of chapter 3 as well. So quite interesting chapter, session 25, the start of chapter 3. So yeah, quick recap from last time. You left Greypoint. There's some stuff going on in the town there that you were able to see, but yeah, I mean, you've got some. It'd be interesting going back, basically, with the disruption of the festival. The Ashen Albatross was the ship that took you south. A kind of no questions asked journey. You encountered a strange creature halfway down the voyage. It was like a kraken, from the stories that you'd know. But yeah, certainly the word on the ship was that it was a kraken, and it was not good news. But it seemed to be preoccupied by something else. Something seemed to be in combat with it, and so all you had to deal with was the kind of residual effects of its presence, which was this crazy storm. So you were able to help the crew of the Ashen Albatross get through that, and sail safely on to towards Kala. The captain, Barnard Glynn, was suspicious about the passengers who had blue eyes. Kind of seemed to correspond to the colors seen on the horizon, fighting the Kraken. But you were able to convince him that nothing to do with you guys, and that you just wanted to get to Kala. And so as the kind of evening draws in, you arrive with the Ashen Albatross into the docks of Kala. Any questions before we start, or do we just jump right in?
So could you give another quick description of Kala? It's like in this frozen field, basically.
Yeah. So
there's a big statue that's kind of greeting us.
Yep.
There is something, all the buildings are like slanted or something to like
that's right.
fight against the wind or something.
Yeah, that's right. Probably easiest to describe. I don't know if you guys can be on roll 20 at the same time. Maybe not, but there's a few pictures on roll 20 that might help to.
Totally forgot.
I've got a few things to reveal, kind of like as we go on today as well, but mostly NPC pictures and stuff like that. So it not a big deal if you can't get on. But there's I put the map up on roll 20 as well, so I'll be referring to that myself. So I can point to things, etc. I should have put the player tab over so that you guys are seeing this. Make sure I've got no music playing or anything. Yeah, all good.
What are the temple cliffs?
The temple cliffs. So they are over to the north of the city. Well, sorry, no, not north. North is east or west in the Strand, but yeah, they're kind of to the south of the city. The cliffs that kind of stretch down to the south, they are like these weird, like natural caves, and it's in those that basically a temple to the prime force, which is called Talam. The one that represents rock.
Yep.
And so it's a place of worship for their followers. It's basically this cliffside that's kind of pocked with these kind of strange holes, and it's a place of worship for these guys. That's kind of what it looks like. It's it's maybe a little bit sci-fi, more sci-fi than
Yeah.
I would like, but
I mean, I think it's really cool art.
yeah, I mean the point of Talam is that there's these like strange rock formations, and be that like strange cylindrical holes or other weird shapes in the rock, and the followers are always trying to like find the hidden meaning, like what it all means. There's a thing that's like Talam was said to be like an artist, and so any kind of like area of exposed rock, like a cliff face or something, it's said that he's like sculpted that like that for a reason, and so they're constantly trying to figure out, the meaning behind any kind of area like that. And so they congregate around areas like this where there's notable kind of features on the rock, in and on the rock. So yeah, there just happens to be one next to the city in Cala.
Okay. And so we've docked, right? We're off or no, we stopped kind of like right before we docked, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're just coming into the city, yeah. But yeah, just about there.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So the statue that I mentioned is over this. Oh, can I click? Let me see if I can click. There we go. So down at this kind of one of the points, that's his arms, kind of drawn. You can't really see its head, but this is like platform that extends over the top of the head, and it's next to this temple of Vessi, which is obviously the water force. And so, yeah, it's obviously a symbol of worship for Vessi down at that site. But the ship swung around. It's come down like along this path here, and then and then into the docks over here. Yeah, that's where we are. Any other questions? I think we're good.
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, as you're kind of pulling in, I mean, the ship, you've been kind of keeping to yourselves on the Ashen Albatross, other than helping out the crew through that storm, and you, as you kind of come to like the kind of twilight of the evening, well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the sun's kind of going down. It's kind of starting to get dark. Very windy. Barnett Glenn, the captain of the ship, he kind of comes over to you guys just as you're pulling up. He says, he says, you've kept your word. I'm not one to break mine, so you may have these back. And he hands over the crossbow and the rapier that you'd provided to him as part of the deal. And because I can't remember if there was any money that was agreed, I'm just going to say that he says that any fees that were agreed will be waived on account of your assistance during the journey. So, I mean, I don't know if you already paid him money or you were going to pay him more money when you arrived, whatever, but he's happy to let that one go. He says, yeah, don't take any of this as any more than the ending of our agreement that we had. You were not on this ship, and you don't know anything about this journey. You've never seen me or any of my crew before this moment. You did not ride the Albatross into Cala. Do you understand that?
Of course.
Okay.
Who are you? Just kidding. That's just a little joke.
You're like completely straight-faced. He just turns away. So soon the kind of ship's maneuvered into place. It's tied off at the docks, and there's an anchor lowered. It's fairly busy. I mean, there's most of the activities out on the what's the word? Like the promenade kind of area. I don't know if promenade's right, but like the kind of actual on the land. There's like this kind of large flat area. But there's the kind of to and fro from the ships. There's like these two big cranes that are kind of lifting materials up from the dock area up further into the city, and yeah, it's fairly busy. I mean, there's people going about. One guy comes out to the ship. Let's find out where he is. No, I don't have a picture for him in the end. I don't think. So, yeah, one guy comes out and he kind of starts to like what's the word? The like gangplank goes out and the kind of crew start to filter out into the docks. Some are carrying little bits of cargo here and there. Some are just going stretching their legs on dry land, and they start obviously talking to the presumably this dock master. So what do you guys want to do?
I think Arrow. Sorry, I think those would stretch out his arms and say, "Right, I suppose we should supply ourselves before heading forward."
Yeah, and Errol will actually use his telepathy to kind of whisper into the minds of Karthos and Soren and just kind of be like, we should separate ourselves from this ship first and just move along out of the dock area.
Soren looks like...
And you'll see Errol kind of
Yeah, Soren looks kind of scared, and he just like looks over his shoulder and says, "I'll follow you." And he does.
Okay. Fabia is with you as well, obviously.
oh yeah, right. I'll give that message to her as well.
Yeah, no problem. She's like, she's ready to go. I mean, you've all gathered your things by this point, presumably, and you can head away from the ship. As you kind of pass, you see there's like a not like a hushed conversation, but like the one of the crew and the presumably this dock master. They're kind of standing close together. And the dock master kind of like glances over at you guys as you pass, and just continues his conversation. Doesn't really just noting your presence, and you see like a handshake between the two of them. Maybe if you are used to such things, you might suspect there was like money changing hands or something like that, but maybe not. I mean, those of you that are more kind of naive to that sort of thing maybe wouldn't have even noticed, but
yeah, I would just be kind of heading towards that promenade area you were talking about.
Cool. So I mean, soon enough you're like kind of taken in by the crowd. I mean, it's not a massive crowd, I mean, but there's quite a lot of people going around. There's every so often there'll be some kids running around. There'll be mostly dock workers kind of carrying stuff in like long lines. People shouting. It's kind of like just a busy kind of area, and it's coming into the evening time, so you get a sense that this is like the end of the day work, and people are just kind of packing up or finishing off the last few things that they need to do before heading home. And you do start to see there's a general flow of movement back into the city as the crowds start to kind of filter back into the town. You start to kind of pass. You kind of cross the promenade area. They see there's like a few kind of market-y kind of soul style, but I mean, they're very kind of small and minimal because the wind here is kind of coming across so like gusty and like violently that any kind of substantial market would be impossible here. So it's just kind of the odd thing here or there. Kind of around that area, there's kind of these large warehouses that most of them boarded up. You just get the sense that it's like this place could be a lot busier if the seasons were different. Obviously, coming into winter time, there's less traffic by sea, and so there's less going on than there might be at another time of year. And you start to kind of climb the steps that the kind of before you, like there's this like long road that leads up into the city proper, and start to kind of ascend that.
Before we go up there, are there any like food stands?
Yeah. There is. You see, it's funny, like because of the way the buildings are. Like you mentioned, they're basically mono-pitched buildings. They're almost triangular shaped with a low wall at one side and a kind of higher wall at the other. And so on the windward side, on the leeward side, is where things tend to like kind of congregate. So and the gaps between buildings is just almost like a conduit for wind kind of blowing through. And so people kind of, if there's anything going on, it's kind of gathering in these kind of the wind shadow of the building, if you will. So there's a little cart that you pass not far from the promenade, just a little ways up the slope. There's like a little old guy. He's got like a little cart and it's got a fire burning and looks to have like these long sticks with some kind of shellfish skewered on them.
I don't know why, but like that's exactly what I pictured in my head when I was looking for food. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be buying a couple of those. I think Errol's hungry.
Cool.
Getting some cockles.
How many jots is that gonna be?
So he'll probably just ask for like a couple of jots for a handful of these sticks, and it's he kind of like sprinkles like this, like grinds this seasoning thing onto it as well. It looks pretty tasty, but they're kind of like the small kind of shellfish. They're kind of insubstantial, but yeah.
Okay. I'll buy enough for the group and then pay him 2 jots and then pass them to everyone here. I'm sure they could all eat.
I think Carlos would take one happily.
Yeah, I mean, Soren's gonna take it, but like, Soren is, like I say, Soren is like visibly sort of shell shocked. He's just in like sensory overload, so he's probably just gonna like eat the food and not really notice it.
Is anyone else getting an echo when Peter says it?
Yeah.
If you mute him on roll 20.
Ah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'll mute myself on roll 20. It's fine.
Mute yourself. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if we can. I don't know. I don't seem to get an echo on anyone else, so. Yep, it's fine. It should be better.
Okay, I should be muted now. Is there still an echo?
Yep, way better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's good for me. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, what are your plans at this point? I mean, what are you looking to do immediately as you come into the city? That this food puts a little bit of nourishment in your belly. You can decide whether it's to your liking or not. But I mean, yeah, what do you want to do?
I think Errol would love this food, first of all. Second of all, I would be kind of looking at the demographics. Like, are there a lot of dwarves, mostly humans, a lot of elves? Like, what?
So, I mean, it's certainly more diverse than anywhere else you've seen since you arrived in Eagle's Rest. You probably, well, you and Carthos spent a lot of time in Elam. I think, Errol, you're maybe even from Elam, which is probably the most diverse place in the world. There's no prejudices whatsoever, and all are very welcome. Obviously, coming to the Green Coast, slightly different. It's an interesting one because the makeup of the demographic has changed so much since the suppression, like the Great War. Obviously, there were a lot more elves, certainly a lot more dwarves, and though those kind of races have died down considerably, leaving the humans as the kind of dominant race. However, in Kala, you see a fair mix. I mean, you see like maybe the odd half orc. There's halflings kind of going around. There's a few dwarfs. There's largely humans. You see the odd like. I think Errol, you would notice the odd half elf kind of going around as well. But yeah, it's pretty diverse compared to somewhere like Eagle's Rest, where you've got, you know, there's one dwarf and everyone else is human kind of thing.
I think Carthage would be curious to see if we could find any libraries or any sources of knowledge. We've not really been to anything where that's not so prolific except for that one monastery.
Yep. I mean, you kind of, as you continue heading up, you reach this kind of large central area, and I mean, out from that area, there's various, you know, roads that lead out to the rest of the city. The large central area itself is quite a large fountain, kind of like low, kind of shallow fountain.
Mhm.
And out from the middle, there's this statue. Basically, it's like a, it's basically a statue, but there's several figures on it, and they're kind of like you see like they're like large, like, you know, 10-foot tall statues, quite intricately carved from like this white stone. You see like there's a lot of white stone around this place as well. Most of the buildings are made of it, and it's kind of like a glittery kind of white stone. But yeah, the statue, it's these figures look like they look. There's like the expression that they've managed to capture on their face is like this terror, and it's like just like this grim determination, and they kind of seem to have formed like a defensive circle. You almost like, just by looking at it, you get the sense that this is like you're looking at someone's last stand, like, and you know that the people that are depicted would not have well, would certainly not be alive today. There's yeah, I mean, this is a kind of gathering. There's a few folk, more folk around this area, kind of sitting around the fountain. Although the wind does kind of come through here quite forcefully, but from this point, I mean, the closest building that stands out on the far side of the circle, there's like a kind of a busy-looking tavern or inn, and kind of on the far side of the circle, there's like more kind of regimented kind of uniform, like fin-shaped buildings, almost like kind of like shark fin triangles, kind of cutting across the city. Looking kind of around, I mean, it's hard to tell what's going to be, you know, like an academic place or a library, but you do know that there is an academy, like effectively a university in Cala. You know that there's like quite decent links between the Innovatorium where you studied and this kind of academy down here. Although I'll say you guys know that the academy in Cala specializes more in like you know, ship making and the like kind of architecture of that and the mechanics of that. Whereas in Elam, you're looking at more like, well, everything basically. It's vast. There's more. This kind of areas. This academy is more specialized, but it's an academy nonetheless, a place of learning. But you're not sure where exactly it is in the city at this point.
So we're kind of like right here in the middle.
Yeah, there's a big circle in the middle.
And Errol will look over at Penitent's Drop and wonder what that is.
Penitent's Drop. So that's the inn that I mentioned. You can see
right.
there's there is a sign out front that, let me just move this. There we go. That's where you're at.
Are we looking at a different map? Is there another? Oh, okay. Alright, okay. Sorry, I'm following.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's where you're at. Sorry, just jumping about a bit. Yeah, Penitent's Drop is the sign above the inn. If you kind of wander around the circle, you see there's like this long kind of there's like an image on the sign. It's like this long like wooden walkway that goes out over the edge of a cliff. And yeah, you just walkway, yeah, and a cliff drop. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I propose we first hit in, get somewhere to sit down and discuss what we're gonna do here and how we're gonna go forward from here.
What time of day is it?
So the sun's just going down.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the inn.
So as you kind of get into this more central area, there's that kind of like the crossing more paths, if you know what I mean. You see like there's these workers kind of coming from the east side of the city, coming from the plains. They look to be wearing like kind of these grimy like overalls, like wearing like head torches and carrying like mining equipment. They kind of moving around in like squads, or quite clearly like finishing their day's work and coming back. You've got they're wearing like these kind of big like fur-lined boots, and they're like kind of warm looking clothing. You see a couple of figures going around that are like these like tall, like proud looking. They don't look like soldiers though. I mean, it's strange. They look well dressed, but practical kind of clothing. Again, winter, like long kind of fur-lined cloaks and boots, and they're kind of just. You see a couple of them chatting outside beside another food stand in the square. You see kind of there's a real mix. There's more kind of wealthy looking folk going around with like very like fine looking clothing, and just they're kind of usually like hurrying somewhere or kind of not dallying. You see obviously the sailors and dock workers that have kind of followed you up from the docks, and yeah, various folk. You see there's like a squad of like 4 guys dressed in like kind of I don't know, the equivalent of like sports gear, like kind of comfortable but like gear, but they're basically jogging. They're kind of running like you see them like run around the circle and then head off down one of the roads. This looks like it's like they're in some kind of like training. It's almost like you think maybe military, but they don't seem to be wearing like military clothing. Just like a lot's going on, lots of folk going around. You see some guards as well. They do wear the sigil of Kala, which is like a blue shield with like a stylized like C on it, and it's kind of like grey and blue. So yeah, head over. I mean, the inn itself is it's like it's the closer you get, it's very like loud, and as your first thought, they kind of there's like folks kind of spilling out of it. I mean, it's like a kind of almost overflowing out onto the street, and there's kind of you hear music from within, and yeah, I think you would. Yeah, this is not a very good sound to represent the rowdiness of it, but yeah, I mean it's very loud. You have to kind of like push past people to kind of get your way in. There's like you're getting a lot of looks from people, and you just kind of yeah, you kind of enter inside. There's like it's very like too warm already, and close. Everyone's like really close. It's kind of almost hard packed in there. It's loud. Smell as well. I mean, smells just of people and alcohol, stale alcohol. You maybe get a sense this isn't the nicest place, and you kind of get out of the wind, which is welcome as you kind of enter inside, but you get in and there's just like there's people everywhere. You can kind of see there's like a slightly raised area, and you see some people playing some music. You think you can hear it, but it's yeah, it's hard to make out anything more than just noise. You can't even see where the bar is from this point.
Errol would loudly say, "They should open up a second bar in this town."
There might be another one.
No one can hear me though.
I think Soren just like puts a hand on Owl's shoulder so he doesn't get lost. Soren is actually like startled child, you know, like startled child in a big city. That's Soren like this whole time, and this is like the worst thing ever. Like,
Yeah, and I think I would use my telepathy to talk to like communicate to these people, and I'd be like, I don't think we're getting a room here. It seems pretty busy.
I can't. Can I respond to your telepathy? Do I have telepathy?
No. Do I have telepathy? You can't through my telepathy, but I don't know if you have telepathy.
I don't.
This is remember
right.
we still have those like circle pieces, right, Soren? So you can kind of see.
I can
you
sense
kind of
where you are.
feel, yeah. So don't be too worried.
Yeah, my
Well-
bag is attracted to your bag.
I thought maybe Lee had one of those, or was that?
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
thought I had one and Lee had one actually. Yeah.
No,
What?
maybe not.
I thought it was you and me.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was. We'll say it was. We'll say it was you two.
Yeah, we're here. Lee's not here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why I would write half orb on my character sheet.
That's-
if I
yeah,
was the one.
that's
I
enough for
swear, I think it was.
Maybe
I
it was
swear
left behind by Lee when he ran off or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I'd
So
rather
as
walk,
soon
right?
as I get given the indication that we can leave, I'm like out the door.
Yeah.
Like
it's just-
I've shuffled in about like 2 feet, like past some people, and then I've
Yeah.
just like elbowed my way back past them and straight back out the door.
the classic. Yeah, I think let's all leave. Jeez, holy crap.
Yeah. So back outside.
You could fit all of Eagle's Rest in there.
Yeah, you probably could. It's very busy. I mean, I mean, as you were kind of leaving, someone like threw up, just like across the floor as you were kind of walking there. Like really kind of gross. You see like plates of the food that's been served, and it's like not very nice at all. Just kind of like grey, like lumps of like some kind of fish bobbing about in there. Yeah, not the nicest of places. You get this is the sense that you get. I mean, some people like that sort of thing. They kind of going for the atmosphere, but I mean, perhaps by the sounds of it, it's not the sort of place you're looking for at this minute.
And Soren just comes
And-
out bewildered, and he's like, "I do not want to go back in there. Where can we go?" And he looks to Owl like Owl's gonna have all the answers.
Yeah, and actually, Errol would turn to Karthos and be like, "Isn't there an academy here? Maybe they, maybe they have like some cells we could sleep in for the night or something. Since we're, fellow students, or at least, we could tell them that."
Yeah, possibly. You can maybe close that. I think Carlos was a kind of for some walker of this street that looks quite kind of recommendable.
Is that Lee coming out really muffled to anyone else?
Yeah, it's coming out muffled to me. Did you do something to your mic?
Is this better?
Yes.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, just put something on. Det är biten av det.
What did you do? Did you swallow it?
Sorry?
I was asking if you'd swallowed your mic. I was just being silly.
It's just that's something in the way. Yeah, I think Carthus will try to see if there's any local with his side he can spot.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, there's a couple of guards going by.
I think Carthus would approach and say, say, well met, friends. We're looking for the local academy.
So they stop. I mean, they're carrying like sword and spear probably, and they kind of like stand. They stop as you kind of hail them. They kind of look you up and down before speaking, and kind of take stock of your group. And you see like they're both like noticing your eyes, and they kind of like look to each other. And then one of them says, "You're looking for the academy. That's just down there. You're not far." And he kind of like just like nods to his companion, and they keep patrolling. He basically points over this way. Oh,
Thank you,
oops.
Huntley.
Points to the west.
I'm starting to
over
be
to-
glad for your eyes. Nobody seems to look at me anymore, and that's better.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't notice the hideous scars because of the blue eyes
Yeah.
of these
We
guys.
just need to get you blue glowing scars. That will fix
Yes.
I think I would rather pass on the blue glowing scars.
it.
I do appreciate the sentiment.
All right then. Let's go see if we can find this academy.
Yeah, after the guards kind of pointed out, we head down there.
Okay. Yeah, it's down that way. I mean, you're walking like against the wind at this point. It's kind of blowing right down at you, so it's kind of keeping your cloaks close about you and kind of almost leaning into it a little bit. Up ahead at the end of the street, you see a weird kind of like tiered tower that kind of goes up with like a few kind of triangular outbuildings around it. But before you kind of reach that area, you see a kind of larger building on your left, number 11 on the map, and you see as you kind of come around the corner that there's like cloisters kind of curving around on the internal courtyard of this area, and a kind of tower, but kind of like on an archway above this opening. This says Kala Academy, and you can enter in there.
I guess we try to embed on there.
Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to turn this music down. It's too loud for me. Yeah, so you kind of enter in. There's like figures in kind of like in robes, kind of like running around, just kind of moving around between buildings. There's a couple like benches and things set up in the cloisters. There's a few folks sitting, kind of holding kind of stacks of paper and discussing things, or kind of kind of socializing and things like that. This kind of central tower looks like the kind of the main entrance, and you if you enter in, there's like this kind of cozy entrance area with a kind of front desk, and looks to be a couple of students, a guy and a girl that are just kind of what's the word? Just chatting. just chatting. Nothing to. They're not been caught in the act. They are. Yeah, they're just kind of. They're not expecting anyone to come in, but they're just kind of behind this desk. They're just. One of them's like the guy's laughing at something she's just said. She looks over as you guys come in.
And I'd also like to remind everyone that I'm dressed in the colors of the Innovatorium.
Okay.
I
I forgot what those colors were, but
Are you still looking like well dressed, or are you looking like raggedy?
me?
Yeah.
The way I imagine my character, I'm wearing a lot of kind of like rough leather but I have like this green cloak, which is kind of, I think green is like the color of the Innovatorium, and I might have like some patches or symbols on my leather vest or whatever that I'm wearing.
Yeah, okay.
So I was never looking too fine, but I'm not also super raggedy either.
It's a good point, though. I mean, how are how the rest of you is looking?
I guess I'm in some very worn travel leathers with a kind of a bluish blackish cloak around my shoulders. The kind so I can keep my head down low lifted.
I mean, we haven't been adventuring that long. I think the big things are like the wounds on me. But it's not like I have a full-grown beard or anything, you know. My facial hair is probably grown out a bit.
Yeah. I mean, Carthage was on the run for at least a half a year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good few weeks. I think I worked it out one time. But yeah, I mean, you were kind of heading south through the coast, going through all the towns, and yeah, so you're maybe a bit more rough, and you've not. I mean, Eagle Rest was fairly comfortable as a place to kind of recuperate, but you obviously didn't stay there too long.
Yeah,
and yeah,
like,
Robert, sorry.
I was gonna say, Sorin was wearing homemade type armor to start with, and now like he nearly drowned under Greypoint, so his leathers are all like washed out leather, like all the color's gone out of them. They look like so tatty, and the leather is like very crudely made, so maybe there's like you can see bits of like flaws in the leather, that sort of thing, and like yeah, it's very evident to look at Sorin that he hasn't ever spent any money on like his appearance and that kind of thing. Like he doesn't look like a wreck, but he looks pretty tatty, I would say. Everything still
Like
works.
outdoors.
But, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of picture that. I mean, he's I mean, like, he's not from civilized society. You could, I mean, well, civilized probably the wrong word, but you know, he's not from a, you know, what would be classed as a civilized society by civilized societies. But I mean, and so his the kind of like level of quality of dress is just gonna be a different perception to what some others might think. But I mean, Fabia's the same. She's got practical clothing. She's obviously not been through as much as you guys have, but she just looks tired. Her like, I'd say her like hair is like immaculate, just because she's that elven kind of way. But you can tell like she's a bit haggard. She's a bit clothes maybe a bit torn, a bit muddy, but and like salt caked as well, like from being at sea as well. Imagine that's kind of common across all you guys. But yeah, so I mean, you definitely look like you're not spent all day in town. You know, you've not been in town for a while. You've just come from out of town, basically.
Right. Yeah. And but Errol would kind of have a cheery face and would go up to the desk and say, "Hello, brothers and sisters. We are well, I'm Errol, and I point to Carthos, and that's Carthos. We're actually travelers from the Innovatorium, and we're on a bit of a field trip here, and we were wondering if you guys might have some cells for us and our companions to sleep at for the night."
So they kind of their initial reaction again is looking at the eyes, looking at the scars on Soren's face, and being a bit like, "Who else just walked in? This is a bit scary." Again, it's like that look that's passed between each other. You kind of mentioned the Innovatorium, and they kind of brighten up a bit. The boy says, "Oh, welcome. It's always good to see Elamites down here. He says, "Oh, my brother's actually studying up there. Not seen him for a little while. But I hope to travel up in the spring maybe to see him."
Oh, you should. It's beautiful in the spring. That's when the blossoms fall.
Oh, I've heard. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. He says like you don't get many blossoms around here. You'd have to go to the, well, you'd probably have to try and get into the arboretum for that. But Cala's got its own quirks, and it's obviously home of the academy as well. So that's what brings us here. And he's kind of like starting to like not ramble a bit, but the girl kind of speaks up and says, "I'm sorry. I mean, we do have student accommodation, but it's I don't know if we have any space either. But I mean, it's meant to be for students only, and yeah, she kind of seems unsure. These two seem like students. I mean, they're not like
Right.
they're not staff or anything like that. You know, these are students that have just been kind of given this duty.
Oh, I see. Well, we'd also like to temporarily study some tomes here as well. So maybe anyone part of the faculty we could discuss this matter with.
They kind of like look to each other again, and the guy says, "Yeah, sure, of course. And let me see if the dean is in her office. Let me go and check." And he gets up and leaves, and kind of leaves out a back door. So, and while you're gone, she's kind of like, there's like an awkward silence. She's kind of like smiling at you, trying not to like meet your eyes.
Yeah. I just said that. Yeah, it's actually part of it. We're doing some research that we can't really discuss it for now, but it's had some side effects.
And kind of like as you like start to like talk about it, she's like something like clicks in her that's like this like what's the word, like she has to know more about it. You know, she's like inquisitive, kind of like she's like, oh, like it's very like, how interesting. Like, I mean, it looks painful. Is it painful? Can you see differently than you did before?
Honestly, I forget about it until someone mentions it or stares at my eyes.
Yeah. It was painful when it first came, but now it really doesn't. I don't really notice it when I'm not looking into the water.
Oh, wow. And she's kind of just like staring.
You know, it's a little bit rude to stare like that.
And she like shakes her head and she's like, I'm so sorry. And she like notices you for the first time, and Fabia, and again does like a double take on your scars, and just kind of like looks away, looks down.
I'm sorry, I used to cover them. But you should hold your head up, girl.
She kind of like she like looks up, but just like mostly focuses on Fabia.
Yeah. And I'd say, you don't get to have Cala much, do you?
She says, no, not often. Not often. She's kind of like taps her fingers on the table, just waiting. And then after a little while, the guy returns, and he is with this kind of more senior looking woman. I can show you. If you scroll down from the map down and to the left, there's a whole pile of NPC portraits.
Kind of
And
looks like McConville if he was younger.
yeah, I guess it does. Yeah. She kind of comes in. She's like wearing like like this like kind of like golden robe, and again there's like this the sigil of Cala. It's like the sigil of Cala, but there's like I'll say there's like it's like been altered to like adopted by the academy. Um, so it's kind of like it's got the stylized C, but there's like other kind of elements to it, maybe like the outline of a ship or some other kind of like like engineers kind of tools, whatever they use, whatever I'm an engineer, I should know, but I don't.
Like a compass or something.
Yeah, like drawing implements. Yeah, exactly. So um, so she comes in. She's follows the guys, and she like immediately, because obviously he's mentioned the eyes, and she's immediately looking at the eyes, and she kind of thanks the students, and just kind of like there's a moment of just looking, and before she kind of comes over and introduces herself, she says, my name is Dori Lavina. I'm the dean of the academy. My students have mentioned you're looking to spend some time here. Would you mind coming for a chat in the office just to discuss the options?
Of course, Miss Lavina.
I'm gonna do an insight on her, but sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You never know. 18 plus 3, 21.
You get the sense like there's obviously the recognition of the blue eyes, but you get the feeling that means something to her. That it's not like she was expecting someone with blue eyes to turn up, but
She has an inkling of what it means.
possibly, or like there's something. Yeah, there's something there. She says, "Please, right this way," and she kind of leads the way back through. And actually, kind of the door leads back outside, out the back, but it kind of through like this kind of internal like courtyard area, up and then into another room and up a little spiral staircase and into an office, that is neatly furnished, kind of books along the walls. There's like I'd imagine like scale model ships and things like that, and like that show like the structure of the ships and the cool things like that. Cool little gadgets for navigating, things like that. There's like a couple of like sofas, like leather sofas, and she kind of requests that you'll sit down, and she says, have you traveled far to come here?
And Sorin,
Yeah,
I think.
so
Okay, yeah. I would let Errol talk if Errol's talking.
Yeah, I would say, yes, my name is Errol Drabella, and this is my friend here, fellow student Karthos. We actually come from the Innovatorium up north. And we are doing a bit of a field research project together, pertaining to the suppression and the history of dwarves and elves.
Fascinating. And it's brought you all the way to Kala.
Well, to be fair, we have some other reasons to be in the area, but yeah, your institution is one of the finest in the area, so we thought that it would be good to come here on the way.
Of course. And she kind of like looks at like Soren and Fabia, like who don't look like your typical, students of the Innovatorium, as perhaps, kind of linking those two things together.
And Soren says, my name is, should I say Soren Thalia? And he looks at Errol, and then he looks at Fabia. And then he doesn't like sit there waiting for an answer. He's like, my name is Soren Thalia Everbloom, and he sort of says it like the words don't roll off his tongue very easily. And I'm from and I've forgotten what the name of I'm sorry, I've forgotten what the name of the area is that I'm from.
Yeah,
the wood. I want the name of the wood.
Yeah, and like, it doesn't really have a name. Maybe it's been forgotten, but the Silver Spine Hills it's like the forest to the east of the Silver Spine Hills.
I thought there was something in the map. Let me have a quick.
Have a good look. I don't. Silver Spine Woods, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
Probably
this
Silver
is
Spine
an
Woods would make
unlabeled map.
sense. Oh, good.
Oh.
Let me see if I can jump over to
The
the
green coast.pdf. That will probably be it.
No, it just says Silver Spine Hills.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay. I would say I'm from the Silver Spine Hills in that case. If there's no,
Okay,
if there's nothing else, if there was something like that I thought might be impressive to her that I could say, I would say it.
yeah. I mean, Silver Spine, like everything to do with the Silver Spine is like, was so like pivotal in the suppression, the events of the suppression that it's bound to be, if she's in any way interested in any of that, it's bound to pique her interest.
In that case, I think I would just say I'm from the Silver Spine.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And yeah, Fabius picks up as well. She's like, I'm yeah. Oh, I don't know Fabius' full name actually. I should know that.
It's Fabiania.
Fabiania, that's the one. That's the one. My name's Fabiania. I'm a kinsman of Soren's. Soren Thalia's. We've been traveling together recently. Thank you very much for taking us in and speaking with us. It's much appreciated. We don't know anyone in this city, so it's nice to feel welcome.
And Errol would pipe up and say, "We're so sorry that we have to ask for accommodation. We really didn't want to, but one look into some of the local inns here, we realized it would be hard to find."
Does Carthos introduce himself as well? Has he
Yeah.
done that already?
Yeah, I say, yes, and I'm Carthos Restalin.
It's a pleasure to meet all of you. And she like sits down behind her desk. I understand most people's first port of call when looking for somewhere to stay is the penitence drop, and so I can understand that you might have moved on from there relatively quickly. Certainly not the best place to sleep, and certainly not a place. I hope you didn't eat anything from there, did you?
No.
We took one look and we left immediately.
Okay, that was a good choice. That was a good choice. I mean, it does have its quirks. I mean, a lot of our students end up down there. If you've got a musical ear, then it can be nice if you sit close enough to the musicians. But if you like that sort of thing. So, regardless, our student accommodation as is small. I have one of our students checking to see if there's any space at the minute. I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I think you'll find that there will be nowhere suitable. However, there's another option in the city. If you're looking for somewhere more quiet to be with your thoughts, I'd recommend the Gilded Quill. Not far from here, but it's certainly where I would rather spend my time. That's what I'd say. A bit more pricey, but you will be left to your own, loud enough, quiet enough to hear your own thoughts at least. Interesting that you've come from the Innovatorium. I actually have, and she like pulls open a drawer in her desk, and pulls out a scroll. She says, "I have a note for a Carthos Restalin, a message that was delivered to me by a friend of mine from the Innovatorium. His name is Master Revtar."
Master Reptar.
Yes. And Carthos, whether Atlee remembers or not, there's a guy called Master Revtar. Who
I'm guessing he was his master. But...
He was like, yeah, his patron, kind of like he's the one that like I think he paid for some of his like tuition and things at one point. He like kind of helped him to get going and that kind of thing. But he was like his patron that he kind of guided him through his education for a while. We kind of like spoke about this way back when. So she kind of hands the letter over. There's like a she says, Master Revda is an old friend of mine. We studied together at the Innovatorium ourselves, and we go way back. So we exchange notes every so often. This one came by runner not too long ago, to be honest, only a matter of days ago. And he said in his note to me that if a Carthos Restalan happens to pass by, he would likely congregate to somewhere that is a place of learning. So there's always a chance that you might be able to pick this up. And she kind of hands the note over to you. I'm gonna see if I can send it to you.
Yeah, I think Carthos take it. I see. Well, it certainly is peculiar timing, but his instincts aren't off.
Indeed, she says. Sorry, 2 seconds. She says, yeah, Master Reftar was never one. He always seemed to know more than he should. Master Reftar is an incredibly clever man.
Indeed, he is. I think Carthos would say as he would unroll the scroll and start dying. That letter.
Okay. Just let you kind of read it.
And as he's reading it, Errol's going to be kind of looking at the dean and then looking back at Carthos's expressions.
Yeah. So, she says, well, I'll mention that later. 2 seconds. She says, yes. So, the student boy, mentioned that you were potentially looking to carry out some research while you were here, as well. Is there a particular area, subject of interest that we can help with?
I think at that Car's eyes would go from the letter and say, well, yes, as Arnold might have mentioned, we are interested in knowing some of the lost history of the dwarves.
Sorry, I did say that.
Yeah, but I'd also be personally interested in some of your older texts of the arcanes. There's kind of... It's hard to explain. There's some arcane energy beings that I expect have a bigger role in the world than it's known, part of the research.
The
Fascinating.
lighthouses?
I mean,
Soren just sort of says musingly. Do we want to know about the lighthouses?
That could be a good. Yes, could learn about some of. They clearly were elements of temple in their own right, so anything pertaining to that would be interesting.
yeah, we certainly have a range of historical texts that you may find interesting. The suppression. It's funny you should mention the suppression. This city was not unscathed through that period, this region. In fact, there is a lot of interest at the minute, at this point in time, regarding the events, particularly local events, regarding that period. In fact, the local theatre is putting on a production of. It's quite a well kept, closely kept secret, but I've heard that it's going to be a production of retelling some of the stories of the climatic moments of the Icebite massacre, one of the key battles of the Suppression era. The playwright, Danae Silversmith, she has been spending quite a lot of time in our libraries, researching those exact texts that I mentioned might be of interest to you. But I would recommend, if possible, it's tomorrow night. It's the first showing of the show. They are hyping it up to be something special. So I would recommend, if you're at all interested, to attend, if you can get a ticket.
When is it?
Tomorrow night.
Oh shoot. Is the playwright here now?
Not today, no, she's not being in today. She's probably too busy preparing for the opening night. You'd probably find her at the theatre house, though, Ross Theatre House, just across. Where is it? Yeah, it's not far. Just to the. I hate when I draw maps that aren't up as north. It always confuses me. To the west, just to the west, slightly. Just by the Arboretum. But certainly, I mean, we can do what we can to accommodate your interests. In terms of the arcane, I mean, we may also have something historical texts. Our student librarians are adept at picking out useful tomes and texts and scrolls. So what you could be best to do is put together a short list of keywords, phrases, and topics, and they can prepare a series of research books and scrolls for you to have a look at. I'm sure that's something we can help with.
That would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
And where was this Gilded Quill, in case we have to go there?
Yeah, the Gilded Quill is also down. It's number 16. It's like right in the bottom right corner of the map. I think 16. Yeah, the Gilded Quill. That's the nicer part of the nicer inn. Give me 2 secs.
Okay. That's kind of out of town then. Is that water by the Gilded Quill? Is water all around?
Yeah, it's water. That thick line is the cliff, basically.
Oh, okay, hang on. So, which way is north?
North is left.
Okay. Oh, is that what that?
That N, yeah, stupid.
I can't
compass
see
thing
an
there.
N. Is there an N?
It's an N it's a lowercase N with a long tail.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that was what that was. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. North, right. Okay.
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool too. I just wasn't sure what was going on. But it's fine, because Soren wouldn't have been able to read the map either, so...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he would have worked it out.
I'll explain what that is. So basically, it's a type of a style of compass that they use in this world, and basically by looking at it, you can tell roughly where in the world you are, because there's like the prime forces, the 4 prime forces. Air is obviously, basically the idea is that the 4 of them are like equally spaced out in 3 dimensions, but the 3 on the ground, there's like fire, water, and earth, are kind of, they form a triangle. So at any point within that triangle, you could draw a line to the central, like the, I don't know, not epoch, like the epicenter, the well, like the established kind of well-believed kind of epicenter of each primal force. So like obviously Vessi's one, the water one's way out to sea somewhere. Talam's one's in the middle of like impassable mountains, and Lucina's the fire one's in the middle of like a hot desert way to the north. And so by determining like how long those lines are pointing to the fire, the water, the rock, you can kind of pinpoint roughly where you are in the map, if that makes sense. So this one is a shorter line going to the water because you're closer to the kind of west coast, and you're kind of far further to the south, closer to the rock, and further away from the fire, is the idea behind the compass.
So it's kind of like a triangular pyramid with air being at the top.
Air's at the top, yeah. I mean, they don't really measure that so much, so that's why it doesn't appear on the compass, but technically, yes, you would be able to see how close you were to air. Okay, give me 2 seconds. That's an 11. Okay, I'll give you this. Sorry, I'm just private chat to Atlee. Yeah, that's Carthos's mind is ticking over with some information at the minute.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your hospitality.
Yeah, I say at this point a student like knocks and enters, and he's kind of provides like a ledger, and she says, "I'm sorry, yeah, we're full up. You've picked a wrong time to come here. I mean, often during the year, students come and go quite freely by land and sea, off on various research projects, etc. But we've come to a point in the year where those movements are less easy. So folk have kind of hunkered down to study and to research inside the university campus. So unfortunately, we're full up.
Winter's coming. It makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't want to be traveling around this time. Okay, well, thank you very much for your hospitality. Too bad we couldn't get a room with you, but I understand.
Yeah, indeed. Carlos says as he rolls up the scroll and kind of put it within his glove. We'll probably come in the morning to go over some of the research we need.
Absolutely. Feel free to just speak to one of the students at the desk. They'll direct you to the library. And she kind of roots around and gives like a it's like a pass that's got her like seal on it, like a stamp, and says you can show them this to if there's any issues. And she hands it over to Carthos.
Much obliged. He says, "I got the pass this in."
And the student that came in is still there, and she says that he'll show you out.
Thank you, Dean. And Errol would turn to follow the two.
just as you're leaving, she says, Master Revtar as well? To Carthos.
Yeah. If you get a chance, yeah, I'm afraid I won't be able to contact him for quite a while, but if you do manage to get hold of him, tell him I'm grateful.
Understood.
We really do appreciate your help, Miss Lavena.
Not a problem. I like to help people that are looking for information. That's what I like to do. And I hope to see you around the academy, the library at some point during your stay in Kala.
And Errol would turn back back to her briefly with his blue eyes and say, "Well, then you'll love helping us." And then you'll turn back around and start heading out the door.
And after we're like well off the campus, Soren is like, shouldn't we pay her? Have you paid her?
Pay her? No.
Uh,
it's-
Not that's not how the meme works. It's more of an exchange of favors.
I mean,
So like
she's...
she helps you, you give her a rabbit?
No, no.
More like he helps us, and then he expects to be notified of anything we'll find in the future.
Oh.
Do you think we should tell Soren about salaries?
I have heard of
Yeah,
salaries.
we spent a bit more time in the city.
I am aware of salaries, Errol.
All right.
Maybe I like nudges Soren, like they're just winding you up.
I appreciate your joke. It's not lost on me.
Yeah. I think Errol would say, I think the theater's on the way to the Gilded Quill. Maybe we should check it out before we head over there.
Secure the tickets.
Yeah, if they're still open. And Errol would kind of look at the sunset.
Sure, you make your way over. Yeah, so your path takes you. You kind of head south. I'll draw a little line. You kind of head south along the street. It's very windy against. Oh, sorry, not from there. Yeah, kind of from there. It's very windy again. And you just kind of like wish you were still indoors. That kind of like incessant wind. Kind of looking west, you see through these buildings. You see the large kind of not super tall building, number 18, the Temple to Vessi. And you've seen like various temples to Vessi before. You kind of get the gist of what they're like. They are kind of like the roof's kind of like waved in shape, and the kind of they're usually facing a particular way to point towards the source, the closest kind of body of water. You also notice something that's probably particularly interesting to Soren through these buildings. This kind of large, kind of like hourglass almost shaped thing. It's like a large, almost like a greenhouse. I don't know if Soren would particularly be interested in, or would know much about a greenhouse, but it seems to be made of glass, effectively. And it's like, in the fading light, it's hard to see too much of what's in there, but it's quite obviously greenery and trees, which is, this is like the windiest part of the town, just right next to the cliff. The wind's kind of blasting off across the cliff face and into the town. But this kind of curved glass structure is probably like 50 feet tall. It's quite large and kind of curved dome-like structure with like these like wooden, like it's like on like a wooden frame that runs up along the glass, holds it in place. But that's certainly something that would stand out to you, Soren and Phoebe, as well as watching that as you kind of walk along.
Yeah, and I think maybe in Elvish culture, you would have like the best trained spellcasters would keep like a force field instead of using glass. So Soren's seen this effect before, but not with like a big glass structure and wood and like. So he's kind of like that's weird. That's a weird way of doing that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's certainly noteworthy, and as you kind of pass through, you kind of head into the theater. The theater's like kind of quite obvious from it's kind of far away, but it's kind of like got these like lights that are like beamed up, so they're like clever like lanterns or magic or whatever that's kind of beaming up onto the building. and yeah, quite like a nice looking like entryway that you're able to kind of just duck into out of the wind. Assuming you do go into the.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say as well, like at some point. Well, no, you just maybe just don't see it, but that's fine. So yeah, you go into the theater. There's like a foyer kind of area. It's quiet. There's like it's mostly kind of dark inside, but there's like a lantern and a small kind of window off to the side with like a young woman standing in there with like a she's wearing like a pale blue kind of uniform. She's kind of sitting behind a pane of glass, and she looks to be just like counting something out.
I guess I would approach her.
I think she would like look up like as you come kind of close and like get fright at like there's someone there. Just like oh, I didn't hear anyone coming in. And again, she's noticing your eyes. And I think everyone else is coming in as well. I think Fabia would just kind of like getting the chance to come out of the wind, I think. And
Right. And I would say, sorry, I didn't want to disturb your counting. I tried to be quiet.
Not at all. I mean, can I help you?
Yes, and Errol would kind of look to Soren and Karthos and Fabia. At least two of us would be interested in the play tomorrow night.
Okay. But sorry, yeah, I mean.
Soren
give
is
you guys
looking
a
to
chance.
Fabia to know whether she is interested in the play tomorrow night.
Yeah, she
Because-
seems keen. I mean, it's
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be in more of a rush than Fabia is. That's how Soren's like gauging the situation.
I see what you mean. I mean, from Fabia's from you and Fabia's point of view, the goal was to come to Kala, and you're looking for a druid that's Fabia had heard was down this way that we'd hopefully have some solutions. You know.
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking if I rush it, then I'm gonna like bugger everything up. So I'm just doing some like basic being
That's
in
it.
town things, and I'll ask as I feel my way around
Of course, yeah.
what my next
understand.
steps might
Yeah,
want to be.
you're
So
not
yeah,
running
if
straight to the
if Fabia wants to watch the play, then I also want to watch the play.
Sure. I mean, she kind of like looks to you and says like, it sounds so exciting. I mean, we tell ourselves stories, and we act out, you know, songs from the times of old. But I can't imagine what kind of story they could tell in somewhere like this.
Okay.
Besides, there's a couple things we need to research as a town. That will probably take a day or two anyway, so might as well give a bit of time for this play.
All right, that will be 4 tickets, please.
4 tickets. Okay. I mean, they're selling fast. We've been quite coy as to the exact details, but we've been kind of like there's little details coming out, so the excitement's growing. We expect it to be a full house. So you were right to come in and come in and get your tickets. So that'll be 10 talents each. So that's 40 talents, please.
I think Carthos with there were 10 talents.
Is 10
yeah, and
talent?
I'd be looking at Soren's.
Is a talent a copper? No, a talent is a silver.
It's a gold.
It's like
It's
a gold.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't got the spreadsheet open.
That's okay.
So I had 125 talents. Is that what I had?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm down to 115. Crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's where you're at. Thank you very much. So she takes over the talents, are silver, although they're equivalent to a gold coin in old D&D money, but they are silver. So she hands over you hand over the coins, and she gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 crisp little tickets, like not small, but they're kind of this big, like the size of like paper money in real world.
Like Monopoly money, kind of.
Yeah, I mean a little bigger, but they it feels like it's like thick like paper. It's got like
Okay.
embossed like stamp with the it says like Roth in like fancy like red lettering along the top, and it says on it like Ice Bite Massacre, and it's got like the time and date and stuff on it.
Well, thank you very much.
It's gonna be a great show. I'm excited. I'm excited for you to see it.
I'm excited as well. Are you going to be there too?
I will be. I'll be in the show. I'll be in the back. You may see me.
Are your seats next to ours? And I'll like
No,
look at my ticket.
As she said, no, I'm in the back. I mean, in the back of the stage. I mean,
Oh, you're in the play. Yeah. Wow. Okay, well,
she kind of like sheepish.
I'll keep an eye out for your work. Thank you very much. And
what Arrol is trying to ask you is what time you finish.
She says, well, I don't have much longer. I mean,
and Soren is like leaving. Soren's like dad trying to help really hard, but he's dad, so he can't help.
And yeah, Errol will leave too, but give a little wink before he does.
Yeah. I think Carthus will be kind of jokingly exasperated, shaking his head as soon as come out.
And in true theater mode, Errol would call out, "All right, now to the you like call out loudly to the shoot, I lost it. The Gilded Quill, you know, and then kind of like go off with his entourage."
She like calls after you just as you're leaving. Like she says, "See you tomorrow."
Yeah. I'll do like a quick thing with my cloak to make it all kind of like floral out.
Dramatic. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
Okay. And as we leave the theater, I'd be like, guys, I like Kala. I feel so at home here. Jeez, I didn't even realize how lost I was at Eagle's Rest.
It's funny, like if it wasn't for the wind and like the cold, it's like almost like a small version of Elam in many ways. You know, everything's like a smaller condensed version, but there's a lot of similarities. That's probably, you know, maybe feels familiar.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Down to the Gilded Quill.
To the Gilded Quill, and this kind of part of the town is very, it's different. You know, there's a lot less people going around. There's certainly no workers. The people here are all finely dressed, and kind of are in small groups. There's no kind of loitering anywhere. It's well lit. So I should mention, like, along this area, as you've been kind of walking, little kind of lights seem to be just kind of popping up on like the corners of buildings and things, like illuminating the streets. And they, if you like investigate, they seem to be kind of some kind of magical light source that's emitting street lights in this part of town. You didn't notice anything like that in the kind of central area, so certainly a much nicer part of town. The kind of larger building, number 13, there on the just to the east of where you were walking along there. Again, at least Carthos and Errol would recognize that as the Runners Guild. Their buildings are always kind of the same kind of style, like low, blocky. They usually got like 3 offshoots, and again, like the Runner's sigil is kind of over the door. It looks like it's like a. I had a picture of it, but it's basically it's like a circle, and it's got like 3 feet, like human feet, and like the heels have like little wings coming out the back. So like classic like Runner's sigil. Quite a big like guild like hall it looks like, and you see like some of the guys like that you'd seen jogging earlier, like they run along and enter into one of the side wings. But you veer to the west, and you're kind of coming closer to the cliff edge now, and this building actually appears to look out over the edge of the cliff. And it's very finely crafted building, nicely maintained and well thought out in its design. And you enter in. Give me 2 seconds. You enter in again, and you kind of close the door behind you, like these like heavy kind of wooden doors. And as soon as you do that, like there's a very good like seal, and so the sound of the outside and the wind kind of cuts off almost immediately, and you hear some string music playing, very kind of nice calming music from playing somewhere further into the building. It's very kind of warm, like warm colors, like the floor is like, it's almost like marble, like a nice white stone. And it leads into, there's like a desk, kind of a circular desk in this like central kind of foyer area.
And Soren would nudge Karpos and be like, "We can't afford this, can we?"
Possibly. Depends on how many guests there are receiving.
And as Errol walks in, I think you'd see a lot of the sort of tension leave Errol's face, and he kind of like feels extremely comfortable here. Like this is what Errol's all about, you know, and you can tell he's probably been to a couple of establishments like this before, and he feels very comfortable here, and you kind of see a smile creep across his face, whereas maybe Soren and Fabia feel very uncomfortable here.
Soren is as tense as he was in, I've forgotten what the first place was.
The Penitence Drop.
The Penitence Drop. Soren is similarly uncomfortable in both places.
Yeah. I mean, Fabia at least, like, she's glad to, like, kind of, like, hugging herself, glad to be out of the, like, shaking the water off her cloak, but she's kind of, like, just looking around, like, she's just, like, amazed by the sort of building even exists, you know, like, the decadence of it. It's just, it's completely alien. But not, like, she's not, like, I don't think she would be, she's probably uncomfortable, but not, like, I need to get out of here, kind of uncomfortable. She's like, yeah, this is much better than the other place, but
You feel underdressed, maybe.
Yeah, it's very like, you know, apparent, like smoothing her clothes down and things like that. She sees like there's a couple come in behind you, and they're like very like, well, like almost like tailored suits and top hat kind of thing, and move past you without like even noticing that you're there.
You said there's like a circular table in the middle, or?
Yeah, it's like a desk, basically, circular desk. Someone's sitting behind it. It's like a.
Okay, so it's like a bar kind of thing.
Kind of. It looks like it's just like a.
More like a hotel lobby kind of desk.
Yeah, that more like a reception. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And there's a guy sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah. Okay, Errol would approach that desk.
Okay.
Where the guy is sitting, and.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! I should have asked you guys to wait in the car so that we could have gotten a lower price. No, Errol would approach the desk, and you know, try to remember all of the formalities that he's probably like
Yeah.
a little rusty on, and say, hello, sir. I was wondering what the price would be for a room, or perhaps a couple of rooms for the four of us.
He's kind of like scribbling down some notes on something on a piece of paper. You can kind of like hear the scratching of the quill on the paper. As you approach and you start to speak, he just kind of continues writing. You see he's like immaculately dressed, like this like gold and red uniform. He's like, his hair is like perfectly arranged. And I think I've got a picture for this guy actually. Here he is. See, I'm just going to scroll down a bit. He I don't think I've missed anyone. No. So yeah, he just kind of he like wrinkles his nose before he looks up, and then kind of slowly kind of like looks up and casts an eye over the you and the rest of them behind you. He just says, just kind of like again like wrinkling his nose, he says, "Are you lost, sir?"
And Errol would look back at Soren and Karthos and be like, "This is the Gilded Quill, is it not?"
He like has a deep sigh. He says, "Yes, this is the Gilded Quill. You'll be looking for the penitent's drop that's back in town. You must have passed it on the way in." And he kind of goes back to writing.
Errol would grin. "No, sir, I believe we are in the correct place. We have been traveling very long. Actually, all the way from Elam. Is that what it's called? Elam?
Yeah, Elam. That's the city, yeah.
And we are just looking for a place to freshen up and rest for the night."
He kind of stops writing again, looks up, and says, he just says, "One moment, please." And he like closes the book that he was writing in, and kind of pushes himself away from the desk, and stands up, turns, and steps away from the desk, and he goes over to like a there's like an area off to the side where there's another member of staff there, and you see him having a quiet, very quiet conversation.
And Errol's gonna be kind of like doing that finger thing on the table, like just, and looking back at Soren and Karthos and Fabia.
Yeah. And you see like at this point, can you move further and you see that there's there's four guys playing like string instruments, just like nicely dressed in like black and white, and just playing some music. There's like, you can see like from this point there's like different like kind of areas visible through like archways into different parts of the inn, and there's like kind of like comfortable looking lounge areas. There's like a bar with like lots of nice bottles arranged behind it, and there's like, yeah, you see just like a few folk lounging around and sipping on drinks and chatting quietly, and the guy, the concierge, he yeah, I mean, he's taking his time. He's certainly not rushing.
I think eventually he's taking time. And Carter is kind of approach Errol with you. So, is your kind of people?
Listen, Karthos, I need this.
Yeah. I think Carter's will look around and say, "Well, let's say if they need you."
And while this is going on, like Soren obviously can't hear their conversation, but he just he puts a hand on Fabia's shoulder and he just says, "I hate this."
She says, I understand, Soren. I understand. Just lighten up. I think we need to enjoy the experience. Try to enjoy the experience. This is clearly something we would need to get used to if we're going to be staying here. And she's like looking over at the musicians and things, like just fascinated at the, and yeah, just eyes always darting around. But she looks back to you, Soren, and says, I do understand. I feel the same, but at least we're out of the wind.
I like the wind. I liked the wind. The wind was okay. I know what to do about wind. These things, and he gestures to the bar with the fancy bottles and things. These things. And he just sort of trails off.
Yeah. So at this point, you hear the concierge's boots tapping on the stone as he walks back over to the desk. And he kind of it comes into the circle desks.
Yeah,
kind of makes his
and
way over, and
when he comes back up, I'll look at him and I'll be like, "Sorry, still here."
yeah, he just kind of he says something like, "Yes, I noticed." He says, "We have rooms available. Have you coin? Or require payment up front?"
Of course. Obviously, we are not as finely dressed as your other patrons here. We we would obviously be looking for your simplest of rooms, but yes, we have coin, and we are willing to pay up front.
We have
Just give your
no
price.
simple rooms in the Gilded Quill. We have
Of course.
finest
So
rooms
sorry.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
on
sorry.
the Green Coast.
What my college means, we require discreet rooms.
Discreet rooms. Thank you, Karthos, my colleague. We require your most discreet rooms.
I trust that for no unsavory business.
No.
Oh, of course not.
We just like the quiet. But so the main reason we are visiting your establishment, or the one by the square.
Mm. And he flips through the ledger off to his side, and if you look over, you can see that ledger's got all the information on what rooms are available. So there's no need for him to go anywhere to check anything. So he says that'll be 50 jots per person for a room.
Can I do an insight to see if he's ripping us off?
Yeah, go ahead. And he says, or we have a suite available that would do all of you together. Sorry, how much?
21.
21. I mean, you don't get the sense that he is. I mean, this sort of place is going to have a higher kind of price point. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. You don't know what service you're getting for that yet. But I mean, it's not like he's not times the price by 10. He's just.
I thought you said 50 marks per person, and I was freaking the heck out. I was what the heck?
50 jots
is like silver, right?
50 jots is 5 talents. Is that right?
5 talents. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pay 10 talents for the ticket to the theater. Yeah. he says 50 jots per person for a room each, or 500 jots for we have a suite available that would house all of you.
Okay, and what's included in these rooms?
Well, of course, you may use the bathing areas. You clearly use it. We would tailor your clothes for that as well. Wash them, dry them, and have them ready for you in the following morning. And he reels off a list of things. He says food and drink not included. but we have the means of providing that. The highest quality food in the city, I think you'll find. And yeah, blah 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 blah. A few other things. He talks about the rooms and stuff, how great they are. Like he talks about, like, he tries to like sell like the views over the bay and stuff like that. Like, and how great they are. But obviously,
And
Should
as
sell them.
he's like listing off all these great things, Errol's like, yes, 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 yes. You know, like he'll just kind of get more and more excited. And
And I think Carlos with you. Just kind of glaze out or say, "Tell me it at least has a desk."
yes, and we can provide writing implements too, if that's to your liking, sir.
That
and
would be quite nice. And speaking of which, could we maybe imply service as one of your employee to acquire some items? Not everything off the open market, of course. But
Absolutely. If you could provide a list, we can send someone out in the morning.
that'd be lovely. Early. I would much prefer to get some. I think there's a better effort in getting some new regalia rather than trying to fix this one, I'm afraid.
Of course, I would think so.
Excellent.
Errol's already slammed down the 5 talons.
I was gonna say, like, Sorin is like he's a few steps back from Errol, and he's definitely letting Errol like deal with it. But he was so visibly relieved when they said the price, because Sorin thought that, like, Sorin's never seen anything like this, so he thought this was like this was gonna cost like
Yeah.
just an inordinate amount of money, and obviously this is a lot of money, but yeah, he's so relieved at what this price is, and so he's just sort of like half shuffled up to Errol and like passed him the money like over his shoulder into his hand, like before this conversation's finished. Sorin is just like, yeah, he just wants to get the money handing over with, and then he goes back to Fabia and seems much more comfortable.
Yeah, and Errol would look at everyone and be like, "Min, Fabia, we deserve this night," and yeah, hand over the 50 jots to the concierge and say, you know, "Thank you, concierge."
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think Carlos will kind of face out the 50 jots himself and kind of put on a table. If you'll bring me some writing hiding equipment, I'd be glad to give you the list in a few moments.
Of course. He like clicks his fingers, and he says, "Will your baggage be arriving soon?"
I'm afraid due to our means of travel, we had to abandon most of it.
Sorin has a massive backpack on.
Yeah, no, I was about to say Errol definitely
Yeah.
takes off his huge pack and just like plops it onto the desk.
Yeah. and
All
he's-
right
he-
here, sir.
Yeah. He just says, like, under his breath, he's like, "Of course," and he like he pulls out like a handkerchief from his sleeve and starts to just kind of like wipe where like there's like a bit of mud's kind of splattered across from your bag. He like clicks his fingers, and soon like another finely dressed member of staff comes over, and he says, "Can you escort these fellows to their rooms, please?" And he says, "Oh, and before you leave, do you require any refreshments brought up?"
Give was a good win. It's something from 3 years ago. So, maybe.
Okay, sorry, say that again.
Just give us a good winter some wine. Something from 3 years ago. Maybe that was a decent season.
3 years, and he tuts. I'll provide you with a fine bottle of wine.
And I would turn to the concierge and be like, obviously, I need to freshen up before I can be seen drinking fine wine.
We can provide refreshments in your room if you prefer.
I'll figure that out after. And Errol's
yeah.
gonna start walking behind the other.
Yeah, please. Please send the bottle there along with some writing instruments. Yeah, as Carthus would say before plotting into their own.
Okay. Fabia follows as well, kind of pulling Soren along.
Soren doesn't need much pulling at this point.
No.
He's so relieved.
Just like that horror of like, oh god, we can't avoid this place.
Yeah, that was literally it.
Yeah. Okay. No, she's just excited to see more of the place. To be honest, you kind of you get shown through. And we can do like a montage of like you guys like going into your rooms and like getting like the guy opens the door for you and like shows you around, like flicks on some lanterns in the rooms and things like that. There's like the rooms are just they're pretty awesome. I mean, this guy's been picking them up, but they're pretty great. Just like really nice bed, really nice like bedding and towels and things like that that you've probably not seen in a long time. Each room, you all have an individual room, so they're kind of like seem to be in the same part of the inn, but I'll say there's like on the first floor, but each room has like this kind of large kind of glass window looking out over the looking out to the south. And like looking out, you can see like the lights of the promenade, and like the torches and things starting to light up. You see lights dotting in the bay where the ships are, and you see on the far side like lights from the temple cliffs of Telam over the other side of the bay. But quite an impressive view from up here. And yeah, so you all get shown into your rooms. There's like baths and things are provided with hot water. There's like there's like robes. You get the rooms come with robes, so you can all like get into those and get rid of your dirty clothes if you want. They'll collect any clothes that you want washed or repaired, or dispose of anything that you don't. And in Carthos's room, he gets a small kind of, it's like a wicker, more like a silver tray that's got like three rolls of parchment and a quill and ink, and this like dark bottle of wine that's kind of wrapped in like a white cloth napkin and one glass.
So is there a bath in the room, or is there like a bathing area?
I'll say they have a bath in the room.
Okay. I'm going to turn to my attendant and say, when could I make an appointment for a good grooming?
I'm sorry, I don't understand, sir. Can you elaborate?
You know, like a haircut,
Oh, of course.
a shave, all of that.
That can be arranged. Need to wait until the morning, I believe, but we can have that arranged.
Very good, very good. Okay. And Errol would kind of look back to the bath in the room and scratch his chin. Get me a bottle of fine but not too fine whiskey sent up to my room, but only an hour from now, please. No, make it 2 hours from now.
Of course, sir.
Thank you. And Errol would creep into his room and close the door behind him.
Okay. On the tray for Carthos as well, there's like a little handwritten receipt. It just says for the bottle of wine, 20 jots.
20 jots. That's two gold, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Two talents, I know, but
2 talents. Sorry. Yeah. The equivalent.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't think Carson would know any better.
Oh wait,
but if-
sorry, no, that's not right. That's not right. I was looking at the wrong price list. I was looking at the other place. You are 100 jots for the wine.
100. Okay. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I think Carson's not knowing would put the just down on the same tray and just wait. I think he would write down down a list of. So, like, I think first of all, he maybe take off his leather armor and write down a list asking for studded leather armor, a navy blue cloak, and maybe a silver pin holding it together. Then you can call for a servant.
Okay, and cloak. Fine. The servant would come and collect the money for the wine, and take your list, and he'd quickly scan it.
It'd be quite pleasing to me if you could get this done before I'm done with breakfast tomorrow. Carter says before handing in 60 talents. Do that, and you may have whatever the rest of the money is.
It's kind of like eyes light up with that, of course, sir. Before breakfast is over tomorrow morning, I will deliver it to your room.
Yeah, much obliged.
So, yeah, that's fine. So, good. How does Soren take it to his room? How does he enjoy it?
Soren spends probably like 10 minutes in his room, just like sinks into the sofa. Like, there's like a leather sofa. It's probably quite. I imagine there's like not a big sink into leather sofa, like a more rigid one. He sort of like sits himself in the sofa for a few minutes, like has a look around the room, and he starts to feel like a lot more comfortable. And after his first order of business, in fact, you said there was robes. Is that like dressing gown type robes?
Dressing gowns, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna change out of his armor just into his clothes, I think. For now, he's got like a set of traveling clothes, which are in like, again, like they're sort of homemade. They don't look good, but they look a bit more presentable than his washed out armor. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he's gonna do is go and knock Karthos's door, and it says, "Excuse me, Karthos."
I think it would take Carthos maybe half a minute to stand up and open the door. Yes, Soren?
How much was the wine?
100 jolts.
That's quite pricey.
That's quite pricey. But indeed. But when you're in a place like this, you gotta retain your dignity.
I agree, Karthos, but did Errol say how long he wanted to stay here for? I get the feeling he wants to stay here for a while.
He did, but this is something I've been meaning to discuss with you all. That I think both for all our sakes, we shouldn't be more than a week. Probably better if we are even half that time.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to spend all of my gold on frivolities when I have serious things to do. So I appreciate the luxury. I really, really do. But I think there should come a time tomorrow or the next day when we move to somewhere a little more affordable.
I think Carlos is still there. He sort of probably didn't rob everything from us, but as you may recall, I was almost worm-food. a few about a week ago. I'm not gonna rob me of all experiences over the supplies because more likely than not not I'm gonna be more food again by the end of this trip.
Yeah. I agree with you, friend. I agree with you. I just don't want to drain myself. Soren, like, he's not gonna like count his money, but he has a feel of his money, and he's like, this is gonna last a few days at best. So
Yeah,
let's be
yeah.
sensible.
In the I recommend the sensible, but also make most of it. In most sense, like you came here seeking what was it, a friend?
A druid.
Yeah. Like places like this, as inhospitable they may be to people like us, find themselves a service. Use that.
You're right. Can I be? Can I ask a small favor? Could I try the wine?
Oh, of course. Carter says, and kind of, and that, like he has the goblets that provided, but then also kind of reaches into his bag, pulls out a kind of travel mug, pours the wine into it, and almost to the brim, then hands it to him. Here you go.
Just as I'd imagine that Carthos has had it like wherever you know, like you open wine and let it breathe for a while. About it, like he knows all that stuff, and he's been
Yeah,
letting the proper way to. Yeah.
yeah. It's not overly fancy, but he does know his wine.
Yeah, it's alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, Soren like tries the wine. Is it good? I'm assuming it. Like how good is it? Am I getting good value for my 10 talents?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
probably the best you've ever had, in terms of
Probably.
in terms of wines. Probably. I mean, possibly the best any of you have had. I mean, it's high end stuff. You can tell.
But the concierge was disappointed when he asked for 3 seasons old. So this is like one of their cheaper ones.
Well,
Do we
yeah,
get the impression?
looking at it, I mean, Carthos, you know this is not a 3-year-old one. This is some like foreign import that's like from some far off land that it's not a brand that you recognize. It's almost like they just ignored what you wanted and just given you
I kind of got that feeling.
And that's good. Yeah, it feels like everything about it seems quality and the taste is good.
Yeah.
I think Carlos just kind of leaned into the bed friend and said, "Oh, maybe you could order a bottle for your lady friend."
My lady friend. And he sort of looks. I don't know how he looks. He looks kind of like thoughtful, I suppose. I probably will order some wine. It tastes of being comfortable.
Indeed, this is a luxury these days.
It's good to speak to you, Karthos. And he kind of clinks his travel mug against Karthos's goblet, and he drinks like, because I'm imagining he got poured like, where's my camera, like that much wine, and he sort of like just drinks it. And yeah, he is going to go and see Fabia next. But if somebody else wants to do something else, I've been talking a lot.
I'm fine with you still talking. Errol is getting rid of every speck of dirt that was on his body. He is just kind of tending to all of his little wounds and cuts and just looking at his own body like, how did I get that bruise? Oh, yeah. The goblin that punched me in the side, that one time when we were killing 50 goblins. Oh, how did I get this terrible bite mark? Oh, the purple worms, of course, but Errol's just like, he's using all the conditioners and shampoos that might have come with the room, and he's just like, he's decorating himself, and he's just purging his body of all travel, basically.
Yeah. I think Carthos would, after Soren leaves, kind of go to the bath as well, mostly get the stance on, but also the curiosity, they maybe test it away to see if the tomb is waterproof or not. Like, it's not gonna submerge it in water, but kind of like.
Just dipping a page in there, yeah.
Like a corner of a page.
Yeah. Funnily enough, it is waterproof. Yeah, it's a safe, one of the only safe books to read in a bath.
Yeah, so Soren just like gives a knock on Fabia's door and he's like, Fabia, you're not in the bath, are you?
No, come in.
Thank you. And he'll open the door and actually, is there, if he puts his head like back into the corridor, is there like a servant or something? You're muted, Craig.
Yeah, so you see right at the far end, there's one waiting, just kind of just standing there.
And I would say like, really politely, like, excuse me. And I ask him for a bottle of the same wine that Karthos got.
Yeah, okay.
In better words than that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You hear like as there's completely like quiet in this whole place. In the rooms it's nice and quiet. And you hear his feet padding on the carpet as he comes towards you. And then he says, Of course, I'll bring it to this room.
Thank you. And Soren leaves the door open.
Perfect. Very well.
And presumably there's something you can prop the door open with, or there's a magic hook that holds the door open or something.
Yeah, something, yeah.
He just sort of make himself comfortable in Fabia's room.
She would say come in and sit. There's a nice seat that's set up. I mean, each room's slightly different as well. You've seen Karthos's and Fabia's as well now. They're different. They're styled differently, different kind of styles of furniture. Fabia's seems to be more kind of relaxed and formal than whereas kind of Soren's is more business-like almost.
Okay.
He kind of says come on, have a seat here, and there's a nice two-seater sofa that looks.
It's a big plushy one.
Yeah. That's a nice one that looks right out the window. So a good view to see.
And I don't know if you remember this, Craig, but we said that Soren's family would have been very well-to-do, maybe very minor royals sorts of thing.
Yeah.
And we said Fabia was a minor noble sort of person. And
that's right.
Soren would sit down on this fancy sofa and say, to think I was once used to this.
She laughs a little, and she doesn't often laugh, but it's nice to hear it. And she says, well, not exactly like this, but I know what you mean. Our lives were very different back then. She's quiet for a little bit, and she says, do you think it could ever be that way again? Do you hope?
I don't know. I don't know if I hope. I don't think. Maybe. I mean, now we've found it, but I don't think my parents ever worked a day. I don't remember expecting to work a day, so probably it can't be like that again. But maybe it can be nice. Maybe we can come to places like this. I ordered some wine to the room. I hope you don't mind.
She smiles. Not at all. I was too nervous to ask to try some.
So was I, but I tried some of Karthos's. He's usually very generous with his drink.
She says, "Thank you, Soren. That's very kind. I appreciate it." And she's kind of looks back out the window. She says, "I hope. I know that it can't be exactly like it was, but I hope for our people. I hope for our future."
What's it been like for you? Have you had things? You
No.
seem like you've been better to do than I have.
Where we relocated to, there was the forest. It was a kind forest. It was forgiving. It it did not make us want for much in terms of the necessities for our survival, and by no means the same level of luxury that we're talking about. But no, it wasn't. It was hard knowing what had happened to our people, but day to day, we were lucky to find somewhere that made surviving easy.
Yeah, you were right to leave. Or, I don't know. I don't think I could have left. I don't think I could have left even if I knew there was somewhere to go to.
I don't think we would have left if we had known there were others that stayed behind. We didn't know.
Hmm. I hope we can find this druid. I hope he has some answers.
Yeah, me
'Cause
too.
it's beautiful here, but I'm still a bit on edge, you know. I think the wine will help. And maybe at this moment the wine comes, but
Yeah, I was gonna say she says like I understand, and maybe puts a hand on your hand, and then the guy knocks on the door, and then opens up, and Phoebe kind of stands up. And goes and retrieves it.
yeah. And yeah, Sorin would just like, you know, share a glass of wine and then like maybe take another like they'd have a glass, then pour another glass and take his glass back to his room and just leave the bottle because
Okay.
there wouldn't be many glasses in a bottle. I
Yeah,
guess
no,
like
probably 6
so.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so
like yeah,
yeah, he'd like share some wine and some stories and what have you, but
yeah.
I
You
think
can tell
like
she's starting to like yawn and like
yeah,
trying to hide it, but she's obviously
I was gonna
tired.
say like it's definitely bedtime, and
Yeah.
so I would since I've seen everybody else, I'd kind of go back via Owl's room and just knock the door and be like, "You okay in there? I'm guessing you're okay in there."
And I don't know, how much time do you think has passed?
Quite a bit, probably. I don't think I drink very fast.
It's probably coming to like you said like you wanted 2 hours, didn't you? I mean, it's probably coming to the end of that.
Okay, yeah. So Errol would kind of be fixing himself up, and he'd answer the door, and he's wearing his like whatever robes or whatever they offered. I'm assuming they probably have like a quill on them or something dumb. And I'd answer the door, and my hair would kind of still be. No, I'll be doing like that thing where they like the girls they put their hair in the towel, you know, because like Errol has like kind of long hair, right? I'd answer the door and be like, "Oh, hey, Soren. Yeah, no, this is great. This is great. Listen, I know we're here. You know, I know we're not here for a fun reason, right? But I needed this so bad. Thank you for letting me have
I know,
this."
I know, I know. And he says, "You should have talked to the girl in the theater. She won't marry you if you don't talk to her."
I don't think you understand what my intentions are, Soren. I mean, Cal is great. I don't want to stay in Cal that long, though. But hey,
You
the
don't know. She
Arboretum.
might come with you.
No, she's a theater type. You know, there's not good theater up in Ellum. That's New Lore, Craig. Write that down. And then I think while we're kind of awkwardly chatting, maybe the servant would come with the whiskey.
Yes, I would agree. I was just going to say that as well.
Yeah, and I'd turn to him and be like, "How much was this?"
60 jots, sir.
All
60.
right. Give me one moment here.
How much whiskey is it?
It's a bottle.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably
And
not,
I
I mean, it's kind of like in real life thing, value of these kinds of things can go like exponentially.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Right.
so he's
he's
got like a cheapish single malt, and Karthos got like the fanciest bottle of wine you would
Yeah.
buy in a normal shop.
Yeah, you kind of like, the rarity of the whiskey isn't insane, but it's pretty good quality.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of look at the whiskey and look at Soren and be like, "Would you like to come in?"
I think I'm gonna go and have a bath before I retire. But I appreciate the offer.
And Errol would audibly like and be like, "Yeah, that might be a good idea." And then he'll kind of call out after Soren as he's leaving, like, "But we should go to the Arboretum tomorrow. That I think you'd be into that, right? You and Fabia, we should all go."
Yeah, okay. Arboretum tomorrow. In the morning, we'll go to the Arboretum, we'll talk about the plan.
After a
After
good
breakfast. Breakfast.
After a good breakfast, yes. All right, see you, Soren. And I'd close the door. Enjoy the rest of my night.
Yeah, so Soren, okay. Soren wants people to stop staring at him because of how he looks and what he's wearing.
Sure.
And basically, right, Soren's master plan is going to have a bath and then put on like, no, he can't put on the robe. He's going to get back into his traveling clothes, and then he's going to go downstairs and basically ask for like somebody to go shopping for him. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to work out like how, like exactly what he would ask for.
Yeah.
But what he wants is like a set of clothes that's nice enough to not look ridiculous
Yeah.
in good company. Like, I don't want like a super posh suit that's going to cost me a fortune.
No.
But I want some presentable city clothes.
Yeah.
And something to go over my face.
Okay.
Like, just like that much.
I also wanted to say, I
Thanks,
meant to do this when Soren was up at my room, but when the servant came over, as he handed me the whiskey with the money, I would also be handing him my armor and cloak and stuff to like be washed and, maintained or whatever.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
And
Okay.
I would ask like while I'm asking that, like if they needed me to give them the money down, or if they would come to me with the bill.
He says, and we can fetch you clothes. That is no problem at all. We can arrange for that to be delivered. We can get payment from you in advance, so that we know your budget. The mask, I'm not too sure as to the expense. We would need to do a bit of running around to find something suitable for you, sir. So we can arrange for the settling of that payment upon giving over the mask.
Yeah, and I would say someone's starting to find his feet, I think, and he'd say something to the effect of, I'd appreciate if you could find a couple of different people who might be able to help, and bring me the options so I can.
Of course. That's fine. So, he says, you understand that. There would be certainly nowhere suitable open at this time of the evening.
Of course. I'm sure that. I'm sure that it can wait until dinner tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. We can send someone out first thing. We have a few errands to run, so we will certainly begin to search for you and present something to you at some point tomorrow. Will you be back at the Quill during the day, or will you be returning in the evening?
I'd imagine we'll be returning in the evening. I'll have to speak to my party, and I believe they've gone to bed. But I'm sure that we can work around each other. I think is how he put it.
Okay. Very good, sir. Enjoy your evening. You before you go up. Oh, let me reveal some of these pictures. Actually, you see just a couple of the people that are staying at the Quill. Just revealed some pictures. You also see give me 2 secs. Someone you recognize. You see the captain of the ship, Barna Glynn. He is in kind of one of the lounge areas, deep in conversation with the kind of older looking gentleman from those pictures. They're just kind of like talking over some drinks. As you're down there, you spot that just kind of at the corner of your eye.
Yeah, and Soren's going to pointedly ignore all of that, and yeah, go back to his room, like enjoy the evening for a little bit because he doesn't mind staying up late. He doesn't need to sleep, and then do his meditating.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, no, he says sorry for the clothes. That would be that's 2 seconds. 1 talent for a set of clothes.
Hang on, let me.
So that's 10
Do-
clothes.
Yeah. Do I have some idea what this is going to get me? Have we discussed this or?
Sorry, no, just I'm giving you like some decent traveler's clothes. Better than just common clothes, but like some decent hardy kind of good like hardware and clothes, but not fine. Not fine.
Yeah, you wouldn't wear them to the opera, but you would wear
No.
them to an okay-ish restaurant.
Yeah.
That's my
about right.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm very happy with that.
You can discuss that kind of style with them and things like
Yeah.
that. And yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay. Very good. Anything else before going to sleep / meditations?
There's something Carson would like to talk to Aaron about, but he figures that he should at least give this evening for him.
Okay. Not a problem. Good. Okay.
Shall we take a bio break while we sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like that. So see you guys in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Cheers.
They found they found water on Mars, or not water, but like liquid underneath the polar cap. If anyone's still here.
I am still here. Yeah, I did not hear that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my friend just sent it to me.
Exciting.
I didn't read the article obviously because we're playing the game, but it seems like a lot of people are buzzing about it. Yeah, multiple water bodies found under surface of Mars.
Wow.
Which yeah, super exciting. And that with like I'm sure you heard about Venus.
What was that about Venus?
Oh, I think this was like last week or something. They found I forgot what it was, but they basically found like a chemical that is very like we haven't found an example of it without life. It wasn't methane or anything like that, but it was something similar to that, where it's just kind of like, why the heck is this here?
Interesting.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Every time they like discover something like that, it just reminds me how like little they know about anything that's going on anywhere else.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
try not
amazing.
to like let my imagination go too wild, but
I know.
it's still very cool
It's cool.
to
Yeah.
keep up with. So
I
I'm used
read.
to it.
Have you read The Martian? It's not really like.
No, well, actually, wait. I did read The Martian. I just haven't seen the movie.
Okay, yeah, the book's really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, enjoyed it much
Yeah,
more
it
than I thought.
was super funny.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
wasn't
well written.
expecting that. Just
I
very
wasn't
well.
either.
Yeah, very well
Yeah,
written.
no, I was at like an airport or something, and it was just in the I think it was like one of my trips from or to Europe, and I just read it on the flight, and I was like, this is actually a really funny
Really good.
book.
There's clever, like, because obviously he's not like a super technical astronaut guy, so all the technical stuff he's trying to explain it in a non-technical way, and it's really useful.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
it
really
was
enjoyed that.
it was really cute. It was
Yeah.
it
That's
was
good.
very easy to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'll put it
Yeah.
that way.
Good story. Satisfying. Like good story.
Yeah, it was well written.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
No worries.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm overly pleased with myself for the idea that Soren thinks Owl wants to marry the girl.
Yeah, because why else would it TV be so brazen with her?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I was thinking about, like, Soren's 650 years old. So Soren's ideas of how things work are 650 years in the past. Which in the real world would be literally medieval.
Yeah. just like entirely different ideas. Like, I
Yeah.
always funny, for example, during World War II, like there's a bunch of Americans, both over here in Iceland and the UK, and there's completely different idea of courses going on. Like in these countries, the very idea of it would be, they wouldn't approach us that unless they were being serious about it. Then all over America, it's just like, oh, push as much as you can, and they'll say no if you don't want it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You always notice it as a Brit in other countries, especially like European countries. Like in England, the expectation is that you're supposed to look around you to see if you're in anyone's way,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you're in someone's way, you'll move out the way. Whereas like in Spain, the expectation is if you're in someone's way, they'll tell you to move out the way.
Yeah, quite vocally so.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that, but 650 years in time would be way worse than 400 miles distance.
Yeah.
It'd be such a stupid cultural shift.
Mm-hmm. But then, I don't know much about Soren's background, but I can't imagine he has been interacting with a lot of non-elves through most of his time.
You can't imagine what? Sorry.
That he's interacting with a lot of non-elves through his life.
I mean, I think he's interacted with some because they'll have had to get essential things that they couldn't just scrabble out of the ash, but it would have just been passing merchants who would have just been like, oh yeah, it's that weird elf fella.
Probably more so before the suppression as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's grown up in a life of quite a cosmopolitan life probably for the time, but it's just doesn't have any relation to what a cosmopolitan life is like now. Like he probably thought he was super he probably thought he was super worldly because he'd met a dwarf or something.
Yeah.
I'm not just a mental health. I totally met a dwarf the other day.
Exactly. I'm not racist. I met a dwarf once.
My best friend's a dwarf.
No, I don't even have that going for me.
They don't mind it when I call them stubby.
All right.
Oh, elves.
Fucking elves. What can you do?
Okay. I think I'm going to do something while we're sleeping here. Can I get?
Oh shit! I should have used sending spells. Can I use sending spells
Yep.
before I sleep?
If you had them prepared the day before.
Yeah, I did have them prepared. I prepared them on the ship.
Cool. Okay, yeah, use them before you go to sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
After a few glasses of wine.
Yeah.
Send them random messages.
Yeah. So I'm gonna message my brother first, and I'm gonna say, what would I say? Ilimitar, it's Sorin. How are you? How is Den? We think we might have found some help. What news do you have for me? And then he'd keep trying to talk, but that's 25 words.
It runs out. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just check the rules of the spell.
They can
Is
send back
there,
25 words.
They can, yeah.
How drunk is Thorin?
He's not drunk. I don't think elves get drunk fast on wine. I think if I had whiskey, I'd be drunk instantly. That's what I reckon. Elves are weird that they can drink wine and not get drunk too fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say so, yeah. Any distance. Okay, fine. You do that. You send the message, and you wait for a response. You don't get a response.
Shit. Okay. Okay. So he's now going to try and contact Den, and
Yep.
he'll say, Den, it's Dad. I can't contact Ilimitar. Are you okay? Is my brother okay? And then he'd stop.
Okay. Again, you wait. And like the seconds feel like minutes are going by as you're waiting for your daughter to respond. But you do hear a message coming back. And it's her voice in your head, isn't it? I mean,
Yes, yeah.
it must feel incredible to hear that. But it is her voice. And I'm just gonna type it out to you.
Okay, I'll turn my camera off so I can read it on my phone, so I don't
Sorry, okay.
show the stream or show the recording.
That's your response. So obviously, yeah, that's the response you get.
Okay. Oh, why is this camera not working? Excellent. Okay. So I'm trying to think. I think I want to send it again
Okay,
to
yeah,
her,
I thought you
and I want to ask where is my brother? I'll turn my camera off again.
Okay, give me 2 minutes.
They are very good musicians in this establishment.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Very vigorous as well.
It's like 11 p.m. and they're still going.
They gotta keep going. I mean, they get paid well. Okay, that's the message sent.
Dude, I do not have any spell slots left, so I can't respond to that. I don't have any third level spell slots left.
Oh no!
Okay.
She's gonna think you don't care.
I hope she's not going to think I don't care, but if she does, I can't do anything the fuck about
Can't
that.
do anything about it.
Left her on red. Wow.
Yeah. Very dramatic. Okay. Cool.
Right, now what? Oh, I'm just gonna go to bed. Oh, I'm just gonna
Okay.
do my equivalent of sleep.
Cool. No problem. Very good. One other thing. As you're sleeping, I kind of want to give you a dream, but I don't want to. Oh, okay, we'll just try and do it quickly. Okay, so could Gavin and Atlee just quickly headphones off?
You should be able to deafen them.
Oh, cool.
Because you are in the server. If you right click them, you can click deafen.
So I can, right? Let me deafen you. I will undeafen you soon. Be quick. Okay, is that good?
Okay.
Can you guys hear? No? Okay, good. Right, let's go. So yeah, as you kind of drop into your meditative state, you do like you don't know if it's just like the memory of the wind or if there's some fragment of it that's getting to you, the sound of the wind, but there's this drone that is in your mind as you kind of drop into this state. And there's kind of the wind, the kind of undulating wind changes to like a constant drone, kind of low hum, and you are suddenly aware that you're in some great cavern, and it's filled with machinery and architecture and things that you've never seen before. There's this kind of like dark fog kind of twisting in and around nearby. The machines, you notice that the droning sounds coming from the machines, but and there's the kind of like some over there are loud, some over there are more quiet, but the machines themselves are not actually moving. So this is kind of like eerie situation. And before you, there's this vast crack in the ground, and out of the darkness of the crack come some tentacles, these searching tentacles. And you're familiar with these now. You've had dreams before like this in the last week or so. And so when like they've tried to like penetrate your body, penetrate your mind before, and so you're ready for that when they come for you. And there's various tentacles that come out at this point and do that. But just like the last time and every other time you've had this dream, there's this power, and it's like this deep well of energy that you feel that you can draw from. And it's incredibly familiar. It's like as familiar as anything could be. It's familiar as like your own mind, and you feel it and you feel it coming through your feet. And if you look down, you notice that your feet are literally like rooted to the ground, to the stone. And there's these like branches that are kind of sprouting out and around your legs and clinging down into and onto the rock around you. And like rather than feeling like you're restricted in place, it feels more like these kind of roots are like keeping you stable and providing like a foundation with which you can like now fight back against this invading kind of enemy. And you realize that there's others as well by your side, and you can't make out features because of this like thick kind of fog. But you can see that their feet are similarly rooted, similar to yours, and there's this like innate kind of bond that you feel with them. It's like it's super strong, and they are with you and they fight with you, and because of that, just like on the previous occasions, the tentacles soon retract back into the crack and are defeated, and the scene kind of just like the black fog just kind of builds to obscure your entire vision, and you kind of the rest of your kind of evening passes in a kind of standard meditative thoughts that you do have. Okay.
Okay.
Good. You guys are back in. You're back in the room. Hello.
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 Good. Cool. So we wake. The windows reveal the sunrise, momentum rising up from Vessi's ocean, and the daylight kind of streaming in. You get the option of having your breakfast in your room or down in the kind of the lounge area down in the hotel.
I think Carthus would that's towards having the lounge area.
I'm fancying the
Yeah,
lounge area.
I think we all have like things to talk about and stuff.
Okay, so you could go down and you like request somewhere that's kind of more out of the way. Okay. So yeah, you do breakfast is served. I mean, you get like it's pretty good. Again, you get like fresh like fruit juice. You get like hot like teas and things that have been like made for you. There's various different kinds of fruit. There's like pastries. There's like the odd kind of like hot thing that you can request as well. So plenty food. Costs you What would it cost you? Sorry, just let's say 5 jots. 5 jots each.
And I am scarfing it down.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it a buffet?
Kinda, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just help yourselves, and they keep filling stuff up as you empty it. There's probably some like exotic things on there. They're not like crazy, but like a few, like.
Ooh, do they have a waffle maker?
There's
They
a
have, like,
magical waffle iron that somebody uses burning hands on the.
there are like that sort of thing. I mean, like sweet pastries and honeys and things like that. Yeah.
Do they have oranges?
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe orange would be like the exotic thing. Yeah, yeah. You guys would maybe know what oranges were, but maybe Soren's probably never seen one.
No, probably he hasn't. In fact,
Mhm.
maybe he has when he was like 20, but he doesn't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. The olden days.
Or
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's one of these things.
yeah. Cool. Good. Carthos, there's like a guy comes through and he's like wheeling like a trolley, basically. Oh no, he's going to take up to your room, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
what?
Uh,
Carthos
uh.
requested something for breakfast time. Errol, did you want something as well? I forget if you
Well, I handed them my clothes to be,
just washed and yeah.
washed and, kept up or whatever.
Okay, cool. No problem.
I also wanted that hairdressing appointment.
Yes, that's right. Okay, no problem. So you're not interrupted at breakfast. You can finish your meal and have any discussions that you'd like in relative peace.
Is Barraglen anywhere in the?
No
Oh, I
sign of
was
him
gonna.
today.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was gonna say is that I saw. Is it Barra Glen? Is that the name? That
Arna, yeah.
But I saw Barna Glen late last night. He was talking to some fat rich human. Human? Probably human.
That could be anyone in here.
It could, but it isn't.
Well, whatever he's up to, I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate any of us poking into his business.
No, well, he didn't seem to notice me, or if he did, then he did a good job of hiding it. But I wanted to make you aware so you're not caught off guard.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's appreciated. So,
Sorry. Go on, Carthos.
yeah. So, I think basically, it's been a while since we had such a bounty in terms of service in the shop, so we should make the most of it. But that said, I don't think we should tarry long in this city.
I don't think we should tarry long in the city either.
Yeah, and I think after that, Carter should kind of telepathically say to the group, "It has been brought to my attention that I may be hunted."
Wait, did you say haunted?
Hunted.
Oh. Oh, Craig, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
Carthel says that to who, sorry?
Telepathically to the group. So
Oh,
like
right.
maybe one at a
Okay.
time.
Yeah, hunted. HUNT.
Well, ordinarily, I'd cover our tracks, but as it is, and he looks at the high ceilings and the marble walls, and he just says, "I can't do anything to help with that."
And that's yeah, I think Carson says that. So that's part of why I appreciate being somewhat discreet. I think we have time, but I'm not sure how much.
Right. Well, I need to know where this druid is, and we need to get there quickly. And he looks like at everybody in the group, just with serious face,
Yeah.
He says, do we ask at the academy?
I think that's not a bad place to start. And even then, I'd be interested in approach the academy and see if they have any books that they can and further help with both the elemental and the temple, and perhaps see if certain something has any link to krakens.
Or people
I-
turning into trees?
Did you guys saw like the massive arboretum, right? You don't think a druid would want to hang out in there?
Very possibly. We can ask there first. It's on the way. But I'm scared, Owl. I'm in a hurry. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to point us in the right direction.
I know.
Yeah. We sit ask around and research what we can today. Then tonight we attend the theater. Then tomorrow we'll judge what we need to do.
We'll see. Let's see how the day goes. What's a day? I wonder when my clothes will arrive.
Well, you guys are gonna have to wait up a little bit while I have this appointment here in a bit. But we can leave right after that, and hopefully your clothes will be here by then.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go to the room, I think.
Yeah, my purchase is arrived by now, so I'm interested in seeing it for my first time.
And I'm going to go to my room and I'm going to sending again because we've had a long rest.
Yep.
And I actually I'll message you because
Yeah,
you've
okay.
sent messages to me, so I'll continue to be discreet
Okay, no
since
problem.
that's what we're doing.
Well, while you're typing that out, I'll say, Karthus, you get back to your room. There's a package wrapped in like paper with like string tied, and you kind of open it up, and there's a very nice set of studded leather armor. It's not too not super stylish, but it certainly looks smart. And nice, and it's brand new. Never been worn. So the leather's maybe a bit stiff, but need a bit worn in. But shiny studs on it. And in terms of the adjustable straps and things suitable for your size. The cloak as well, you kind of throw out the cloak, and it's just very nice in the colors you kind of described. And it's like softer on the inside and a kind of more hard wearing outer surface. But very nice again. Very good quality clothes.
Okay, nice. Carthus would be quite happy with that. Then. We could adjust ask that.
Very good. You're looking smart. Okay, see what this one says. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let me think about that while I respond to Errol. So, yep, Errol gets back to his room. Again, there's a nice package neatly tied up in brown paper on his bed. And you opening up, you see his clothes, just familiar clothes. I mean, they're almost unrecognizable, possibly, with the layers of dirt that's come off them. You see like holes in the trousers that have been patched up in like a similar color of material. And the boots have been kind of like the soles have been replaced on the boots and things like that. It's like very thorough job.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, looking and smelling fresh.
Heck yeah. All right. Yeah. Errol's happy. Errol, yeah, they look just like like he gets a memory of when he first got that set of clothing. Yeah, I'm assuming he probably got that set of clothing right before he joined the college, or something.
Yeah. Of course. And you hear a knock at the door, and one of the servants comes in with another gentleman. He's got like a chair and like a cloth set that he like opens out, and it's got scissors and razors and things like that. So what kind of style is Errol gonna request from this barber?
I mean, I think Errol's just getting a trim up, like he's been on the road, he has some split ends and things like that. He just kind of wants to look pretty, he wants to match everyone else here who probably gets a haircut, once a week or whatever. So he's just gonna be getting like his um I'll re-describe Errol. He kind of has like long curly hair, kind of like Van Helsing in the
I am
latest Van Helsing movie, I think is what I was going for.
the Hugh Jackman one.
Yeah. And let me look at that again because it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
If Errol was played by Hugh Jackman, that'd be pretty cool.
Yes. And but he also has like I don't know what you'd call this, but he basically like has a bit of a goatee, I guess is well, except for that the top part. I don't know what you'd call that. He just kind of has like the bottom hair.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he just want all that trimmed up, and shaved on the sides, and
Yeah.
all of his eyebrows, to be plucked a little bit, around the brow and all of that. His growing unibrow or whatever, and
Yeah.
just kind of like get all the nose hairs. Maybe he'll do that cool Turkish thing where they like burn it or something. Like just
Yeah.
all of the things that like to a layman's eyes would make no difference whatsoever, but it's like rich
Yeah.
people, he would look way better.
Yeah, I
kind
know
of.
what you mean. Yeah. And he's probably had it before as well. So he's he's ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. That's fine. Again, he's probably looking, although not super different, but like probably feeling very different.
Yeah, and Errol, he's not from a super wealthy family, but he's, like this isn't something he would have done every week, but it's definitely something that he's done more than a
Yeah.
handful of times,
Of course, yeah.
before any like important day or a birthday or holiday or something, he'd probably get something like this done.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay. Ready, so say you and Carthos go down and meet in the lobby ready to go. Just give me 2 seconds to respond to Peter.
Yeah, and Carthos, when you see me in the lobby, I am wearing my like school uniform from the Innovatorium. It's kind of like this green. I don't know if they'd be robes necessarily, but kind of like this green, and maybe I don't know what the school colors are, but like a green kind of outfit. But I've left all of my weapons up in the room and stuff, and I'm just looking very plain. I look way more like how you probably know me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, how I've seen you most of the time.
Right? Yeah. How you've seen me for most of the time you've known me is basically how I look now.
Yeah. I'm kind of sitting downstairs, and you stepped in armor, kind of still adjusting a few straps. So I see, oh, for a long time since you wore your school uniform.
Yeah, I thought it'd be nice. It's a little bit of normalcy. I'm gonna take it while I can before Soren makes us go fight giant worms again.
Yeah. Check that. Well, might be better. Yeah. You remember what I said earlier?
Well, I have my tricks.
Yeah. saying, I got a letter from my former master, and he said that the incident at my graduation might have had some repercussions.
So
Oh,
yeah, I don't know, if, Errol, if you remember the details.
well, I remember tentacles came out of my buddy
Yes.
Carthos here.
Yeah,
I was
That's
kind of
right.
very publicly outed.
yeah. But that was the I think probably the first public show of the abilities, and it just kind of got out of hand a bit, went a bit mental, and people got hurt, and it triggered Karthos to leave.
Yeah, sorry. You carry on.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think. I'm just kind of wondering what Errol's position in that was.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure if he would. I think he probably would have been there. I mean, it's his graduation. You were probably both graduating at the same time.
I imagine he probably, he was walking up across the stage, then that horrible thing happens, and I'm like looking at him like, oh shit, and I probably like go through a back door or something and like try to follow him or whatever, and then yada yada. Now we're down here.
I think that's what happens. I mean, Karthos runs and he's like going as fast as he can to get away, and then you're trying to kind of figure out where he's gone and trying to follow him down, and then you end up in Eagle's Rest. It's like a days apart. Yeah.
I think that's I like that. Yeah.
So that's what he's saying is that there's repercussions of that are following.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, as you say, as we telepathy, point is, we might want to find something to lay low.
Shit. Yeah, I'm in my school uniform, aren't I?
Like your graduation gown.
Yeah.
You were just in the process of putting your hat on, and he was like, maybe not.
Yeah. So I think Carlos would then show a forced here this. So how about we get some souvenirs from the theater? Maybe some masks?
Maybe, yeah. Well, shit. Shit. Okay.
Obviously,
yeah.
like back. I was
I'll-
gonna say back then, I mean, your eyes weren't glowing, so it's not like, oh, those two weird students with the glowing eyes. We're after them. It's like,
but
it's
we're
more something
still
special.
like
But the
wearing.
color, I think, there's association with the color. I think that would be weird, And it's not like you guys have been quiet about what you've been doing as well. I mean, there's been a few, a few public, we could say, like witnesses to your abilities, basically.
I'll be right back, and I'll go back up to my room and change into my leather armor.
Just get the everything got cleaned, so you can you might have a spec there, spare set. But
Did my clothes also arrive?
yes, yes, you did. You were looking for clothes. They have they got masks for you yet?
Probably not.
Probably not. But they said there's a note to say that they are still looking, and they'll get back to you later.
So I'm gonna change into my new clothes, and I'm gonna leave my traveling clothes outside my room, and and all my armor outside my room, and I'm gonna leave a note saying that, like, the armor needs, like, the leather needs lots of work. I'm sure they know that, but I probably have to get Karthos to write it for me. But I'm sure he'll be very helpful and write a note for me. And then, since Karthos and Errol seem to be taking some time, I try to grab the person who did Errol up.
My barber?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Except it's not a barber. It's definitely a hairdresser. You have long hair.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But
I like how Craig was like thinking like, who the heck beat the crap out of
Who did?
Errol?
Yeah, did I miss some?
Who
yeah,
did Errol?
Craig is
Awful.
Scottish. He has different conceptions about things.
Just assume someone's getting beaten up.
Yeah. Someone's always getting beaten up. But yeah, I feel very conspicuous now. I've changed into my clothes about my hair, and I was gonna ask if someone can shave my head.
Oh, cool.
Because I'm pretty sure I already said in a previous session that I chopped my hair off with a knife, so it looks
right.
terrible. So
Yeah.
I just want it off.
Okay. Yeah. You can grab him as he's kind of leaving Harold's room, and you can arrange for that. That's no problem. Just very fine, and he uses like different like oils and things like that, so it smells a bit, and it's very smooth.
I
and
didn't need
shiny.
that whatsoever.
But yeah, no,
But
they
now I
just
have a
very
shiny head. Excellent.
just like this perfect
A
yeah.
shiny
But there's
head and then the pointy elf ears.
yeah. I'd imagine as well. I was going to say that there's probably your scars probably extend like up into your hairline a bit as well. So
I
Yeah,
was about to
probably
say,
do.
have you guys seen Dark? It's like the German Netflix original.
we
No.
started watching it. I think we're not got too
There's
far.
a character in it that's like all mangled up, but he's bald, and that's what I'm imagining right now.
Okay. I can't think who that might be.
His name's
but
Adam.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so he's again probably a difference to the way Soren looks that's noticeable.
Would
As you,
would Fabia then be downstairs, or
ooh.
like would she be with the boys?
Yeah, well, I was going to say she'd be coming out just as you are, and you can come down together. But you
Yeah,
can
okay.
tell, her hair's like all been kind of like washed and combed out, looking much better. She's not had it cut or anything yet, but yeah, her clothes, yeah, she's purchased some new clothes as well, and it's very like a long like jacket kind of coat thing for the weather. And some new boots and stuff like that. So she's looking, like a different group kind of leaving.
Yeah, so Soren is in like a brown cloak, not like dirty brown, but like a brown that could blend in if it needed to, but it's still
Yeah.
quite nice. And then just like a shirt with like I'm imagining they would have got like trendier clothes than Soren really wanted. So there's maybe like a shirt with like the little type of collar and like that sort of thing. But then there's like a brown cloak over it, so he's all right.
Okay. Yeah. And like shiny, like some like nice like silver buttons or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Okay. Very good. Have I missed anything? You'll come downstairs. Yeah, no mask yet, but they're going to get back to you about that. See what they can do. You'll come down. You've all had your breakfast. Yeah, you're good to go out into the day.
All right.
So where to first?
We were gonna just stop by the arboretum, right, and just ask if the guy knows anything about a druid.
Yeah. Have you seen the guy that likes plants?
Yeah, you kind of like plants. Do you know anyone else
But,
who kind of
like-
likes plants a
I
lot?
like really like plants.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's as far as our plan extends so far, I think, and then it's going to be the university.
All right. Okay. To the Arboretum. So, you step out into the outside again. Immediately the kind of wind's blasting you straight away. Your new clothes. You're glad that they're like dry and clean and warm. Errol, your hair probably gets like messed up straight away. Styling, but that's okay. And you make your way back over past the theatre. There's no like on this side, on the south side, there's no visible entrance to the arboretum, so you kind of make your way around, and you eventually find like an arch in the wall, in the glass, and it's like instead of like a door, it's like there's this shimmering kind of green curtain, that's there. It looks like it's very fine fabric. It just kind of is barely getting moved by the wind. But that appears to be the only way in.
I would look at Soren.
Yeah, Soren's looking at Errol. And I guess noticing that Errol is also just looking back at him. Soren is going to go in and
Okay.
kind of like gesture Fabia in behind because I think she might do some useful talking.
Of course. Okay. So you step through, and the green like curtain. It does feel like fabric, but it's strange. It almost feels like it's so light that it's almost like liquid. It just kind of like moves, and you push past it and through. And as soon as you step across that threshold, there's like a temperature change. It feels nice and warm. There's still a breeze coming from the same direction, coming from the sea, but instead of being gusty and cold and violent, it's like calm and cool, and just an immediate kind of change as soon as you enter. You see before you, I'll show you some pictures. It's a pretty cool place. You see, yeah, the dome kind of extends up and above you, but you're immediately like there's a path that kind of leads on from the door and splits off in different ways, and you immediately almost just get the sense that you could just walk into one of these pockets of trees and just be in a forest. It's like a strange like illusion of space that the trees can come up and over you, and there's trees of all kinds. There's some pockets of like deciduous trees, some coniferous, some with just like rocky kind of rock features with little streams running down. There's like like vines that climb up rocks and things like that. It's just an array of like greenery and life. And there's birds flitting about, like birds that are you expect to be far too colorful to be from this kind of environment. Bees zipping about. You see a red squirrel run up one of the trees. Just like full of life, this place. You don't see anyone immediately as you enter, but Fabia comes in behind you and just gasps as she looks around.
I could stay here for a long time, but there must be an owner.
Yeah.
I was going to say as well, the smell, like that smell is probably something that would be very kind of nostalgic for Soren and Fabia.
Yeah, weirdly so.
Yeah, weirdly, yeah.
Yeah, and there's no signs of like anyone.
Nobody about. I mean, it's not like you can see the whole building. You can only see small parts. There's so much stuff, So
Okay, well, I'm gonna try and track him.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna see if there's signs of a person having been here lately.
Sure.
So do I roll survival?
Yes, please.
21.
Okay, so predominantly there's two sets of footprints. One's rather large, like large humanoid like boot footprints. Another one is much smaller, like a child's size footprints. But there's lots of animal tracks around as well, and some animals that are like paw prints that are like larger than you'd expect in such a small space. And there's like the odd passage of some sign of someone else, but those are the main passages. So you follow what do you do?
Well, Craig, I hope you've got backstories for all these animals. No, I'm joking. I'm following the human footprints.
Okay, so the larger one, I presume.
Hello, Mr. Badger. Very nice to meet you. What are all your family's names? Yeah, I follow the largest set of footprints, the most recent, or I follow the most recent set I can find, to be honest.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. I mean, it looks like it's been kind of in this morning, so you follow that. It kind of goes around through a set of trees, and it's just like the path kind of leads, and it goes over some like leaves and like nice like mossy kind of path. Very pleasant. I take it the other guys you guys have come in as well.
Yeah, I'm just following
Yeah.
Soren at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
His domain.
Can I get perception checks from everyone?
18 from me.
First die roll of the day.
2.5 hours in. 3.5 hours.
3.
Okay.
Perception was it?
Perception, please. I need to change this music.
Oh, I turned the music off when you did my dream. I forgot to turn it back on again. Because the string music didn't seem very appropriate.
Quartet's still following you around, I think.
They're hoping for a tip, so they want.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I was about to say, like, I paid for this service. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I thought it was more like in Monty Python, The Very Brave Sir Robin.
I don't know what it is, but I've had that song stuck in my head.
He bravely fled, he bravely ran.
Brave to turn his tail of land.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know any other words, but that sounds right.
That'll do. I'm just gonna play. There we go.
Sounds good.
That's
Birds.
yeah, no wind as well. So yeah, sorry. What? So can you say those scores again? I completely forgot. So an hour,
18
got
from
like a
me, 3 from
18 from
Arrow.
Carthos
8.
8. Okay. Yeah. No. 11 for Phoebe as well. Yeah. Soren, you notice obviously there are animals buzzing around. You spot a fox that seems to be kind of watching you curiously, and it sees you watching, disappears, and it it pops up again and pops its head up over a log or something and watches you a little bit more.
Is this
And
at the end of the Human Prince?
and it's hard to tell. I mean, you'd have to go over and track it, but yeah, we just noticed that. I mean, it's not enough to like stop you in your tracks and turn all your attention on it, but it's just that it's the only animal that seems to be paying attention.
Well, I know druids can turn into animals, so I say hi, just in case the fox is a druid.
Okay, that's fine. You do that.
Yeah, and if I don't get a reaction, I keep following the tracks.
Yeah. Okay. Now you wait. As soon as you speak, the fox kind of like ducks its head back down. You hear like a movement in the leaves. And you hear like a little voice. And it just says, "We stand on his toes," and then like it giggles, and then you hear like someone running away.
Excellent. We were looking for a druid. Can you hear me? No. Oh, okay. And I'm not gonna like run after anybody. That's not it. But I'll just kind of walk in the direction that I heard somebody running away and just see if I come across somebody. I don't really have a better plan.
Yeah. Okay. I was just gonna say, if Lee was here, he would definitely have ran after her.
He would have.
Like, if someone runs, he like can't help himself.
He's like, I run. I have. Does calculations. 270 feet per turn.
Yeah. That was insane. Okay, so yeah, you kind of like make your way into the forest, kind of pushing through some bits. You don't feel like it's like you should need to stick to the path in this kind of place. It just feels like you can like meander and move around. It's nice. You see, you don't see the fox again, you notice like there's a squirrel that's again seems to be watching intently from up on a tree, and kind of like jumps to the next tree as you look at it.
Right. Okay, so what Soren is now going to do, having not found anybody, is he's going to stand still, and then he's going to cast Thaumaturgy
Okay.
to make his voice 3 times louder than usual. And he's going to say, I'm terribly sorry. I know this is all fun and games, but I'm looking for a druid, and I'm in a hurry.
So as soon as you do that, like
And that echoes like that, booms through the
yeah.
wood.
all the glass smashes and all the trees.
No, no, please, no.
No, as soon as you do that, your voice booms out. The squirrel like loses its footing, and like it falls. And as it's falling, you see the form of the squirrel like shifts, and like it expands, like zooms out, and you see like briefly the image of like a little girl, and she like it kind of expands the ground, like it contracts again into a squirrel just as even as it's falling, and then tumbles, kind of disappears into like a pile of like leaves underneath the trees, and it kind of you see from like amongst the leaves, you see like a little bird hop out and then start to flap and fly away.
I say, oh, hello.
You see it kind of like move off a little bit, but then it stops.
Please, I am in a hurry. Please.
And you idiots wanted to go to the library to look for the druid.
The bird like it hops down like and kind of goes like into a bush or something, and then a little while later you kind of hear the bush like moving a bit. You hear the voice again. It says, he doesn't like them. He doesn't like them.
Who doesn't he like?
And you see like a little hand coming out of the bush, a little girl's hand just pointing at Errol and Carthos.
Me neither.
Hey.
You see Fabia smile.
I think Carson was across his eye. Oh, well, no more wine for you then.
Oh, enough of you, you grumpy git.
You hear like a little girl giggling.
We don't always have to like people to want to talk to them, do we?
It's quiet for a little while. She says, no, you're right.
So who's he?
And she just laughs at that. She two seconds. Yeah, she kind of like laughs as if like that's a silly question. And then you see like a little girl, like she kind of steps out of the bushes, and you see her. Let me just reveal it. Actually, she's just a little like girl, probably like 8 to 10 years old, and she she just laughs and she says, like she like jumps a little bit, and like lifts up her hands and things, and like just does a little twirl. She's just like doing little girl things, and she looks at all of you, and she kind of, when she's like sees the warlock, she's kind of like wary of them and tries to like keep away from them if she can, but she like smiles at Soren and Fabia, and she kind of like gestures to Soren to like come closer.
And I will, and I'll turn towards Owl and Karthos, and I'll say, They are a bit scary, aren't they? But they're actually very nice. This is my friend Arul, and this is Karthos.
Hello.
Well met.
And this is Fabia.
Hi,
And I sort
Fabian.
of gesture Fabia to come closer because I think that will work.
Okay. Yeah, she seems comfortable with that. I mean, she smiles at Fabia and says hello. She does not like introduce herself or respond to the other two, but she says, "My name's Akia." And she even if you come closer, she's like kind of like beckons you to come down, like to
Alright.
kneel down.
Yeah, I do. So I was imagining
she
I was
like-
already crouching down, like.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. And she kind of like moves a step closer and like whispers in your ear. She says, "We stand on his toes." And then you see her like giggling again. She like runs off, and you see her like jump, and she turns into a bird and just kind of flits off.
I look up. Do I say anything from looking up?
No, I mean you see
I'm-
the.
I'm
What's the
sort of
theory?
guessing that when she says we stand on his toes, that means like the roots are his toes or the
Okay.
undergrowth.
Yeah, I mean standing on roots. There's various trees that the roots kind of spread out and extend across this area. Yeah. And you are beneath the trees at the minute. Carthus, you would at this point turn around, hearing a footstep behind you. You turn around. There's a tall, like half elven figure behind you. It looks like this. You just kind of just standing there, kind of. He probably says something. He'd say something like, "Can I help you, travelers?"
Um, I'm Carlos, and I'm just helping my compatriot here with his task of finding a nature specialist, shall we say?
Well, he's come to the right place. This is my 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 homage to nature. My name is Azrael, and this is my creation. Quite impressive, no?
Yeah, quite a majestic garden.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. My name is Soren Godless. This is Fabia. And well, um, Fabia, you said that a druid could help us. I'm sorry, I don't know what to ask.
She says, "Yeah, I had heard. I mean, I really hope that we've not wasted our time, but we our people, our tribe we've been having difficulty with the trees, and we, I hoped maybe someone that understood nature on a different level than us could could help us. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not explaining this well.
I don't know how to explain it better. Our people are turning into trees, he says, very bluntly all of a sudden.
Yeah. So Azrael like raises an eyebrow at that. I mean, he's like this big, like hulking guy. He seems like gentle enough, but he's just kind of big guy.
Is he bigger than me?
Probably not bulkier, maybe, but like
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, probably not as tall. He's got this presence though. With his like, he's wearing layers and he's got this big beard. And he raises two big eyebrows at that. And turning into trees, you say, and oh, very interesting. Are they? Did they mean to turn into trees?
I don't know. I can't talk to them.
Oh, I can see why that would be an issue.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
To to the best of my knowledge, no, they didn't mean to turn into trees.
Yeah.
And now I
At this
can't
point,
contact. And now I can't contact my brother.
I understand. Understand why you'd come so far to find answers. Where are you from?
And I look up and I look in his eyes and I say, Silver Spine.
Oh, Silver Spine. Give me 2 secs, because there was a cool name that he thought of for people that are from there. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, there, that's
Ashfallen.
it. Ashfallen, yeah. That's what he said. He says Ashfallen. And
And Soren looks blank.
yeah. I wasn't sure if any had survived. And he looks at Fabia as well. He says, "Are you one of the Ashfallen too?" And she nods. Says, "We've managed. We were splintered into groups. We didn't know each other's fate, and fate it was that brought us two together recently in our search for answers. Because though few of us survived that time, we are even fewer in number now because of what's been happening. And I don't understand why. I don't understand it." At this point, again, you see it's a little again like a little bird coming flitting along, lands on the guy's shoulder, and then he like kind of like holds out his finger and kind of like touches its beak, and he says, "Oh, I hear that you met Akia. She's quite an interesting one." And he smiles, and then she kind of like hops off his shoulder, and again her form just kind of stretches out and shifts. It's almost like quite erratic the way it happens, but standing there quite elegantly is Akia again. And she's not smiling anymore. She's not giggling. She's kind of looking at you all. She says, "He's so scared. He's so scared."
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's scared?
She like just like she doesn't respond to that. She she's like a deep. She like has like a deep sigh, and like you can see like tears coming into her eyes. Like she's like feeling like this like intense sadness, and she like takes a few deep breaths. Eventually, she like Azrael kind of puts a hand on her shoulder, and it kind of like they kind of meet eyes, um, and she takes one more deep breath, and she kind of steps forward and reaches out to take Fabia's hand, and then she kind of looks up at Fabia and says, "Come and dance with us. Come and dance." And she kind of like starts to pull Fabia away, like deeper into the trees.
I give her a nudge.
Yeah, and she kind of like looks back, like smiling at like the innocence of like the little girl, and like skips off with her, and kind of like has to duck under because the girl's like tiny. But yeah, they disappear into the trees. And Azrael says, "Come, let's go and talk."
Okay.
And so I don't know. I feel like we could stop soon. How are we doing? I mean, I feel like yeah. What are we thinking?
I'm okay with stopping or continuing. Not too late.
I mean, I don't mind continuing, but my girlfriend's probably already gone to bed.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
It's up to you. You're the ones that are up at. I mean, geez, how late is it for you guys?
It's 5 to
Just about
midnight here.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like that's a good good little point to stop. But let's do this one little thing first. As you kind of move off, the three of you move off with Azrael to somewhere, presumably to chat. We see the view kind of shifts upwards and up through the glass ceiling into the greyness of the sky above. Sorry. And we see, instead of the grey sky, we see a grey land. There's ash swirling lightly, kind of disturbed by the winds that are coming down from the Silver Spine Hills that are kind of framing the backdrop of the scene. The ash drifts and settles on a vast lake, the Silvermelt Lake. There's a pair of figures standing on the shore. They're standing cloaked and very still. There's green water lapping against the pebbles at their feet. And they seem like just almost part of the landscape. They're just like standing stones marking some like important landmark. And they're watching the water for a long time, looking to the west, looking towards the sea, unseen in the distance. Nearby, there's a toad steps awkwardly onto a stone. It disturbs the ash that had settled on its back, and the skin is like a rainbow of like colors beneath the grey of the ash. One of the figures then again dislodges like a layer of ash and turns to the other, and we see that it's actually a young elven woman, like no more than 50 summers or so. And she says, "I spoke with Soren. I spoke with Dad." And then this prompts the other figure, a taller, a male. His face is like gaunt. His expression is like unreadable. He turns towards her, and there's a moment of silence before he looks back out over the loch. He says, "He is well? What did you tell him?" And she says that we found someone. We found someone in a tree here by the loch. I told him we continued to survive, and I asked him to come back. I told him that Illuminator has gone missing and that we were looking for him. And he told me to stop searching because he said there was nothing we can do. There's like a silence then. The figure, the taller, the figure doesn't respond. She says, "Do you think I should have told him of the others? How few our numbers have dwindled to?" And he says, "It matters not, then. We are doomed to watch our loved ones leave, one by one. When Soren Thaler returns, it will be to nothing but ash." And he flicks out his arm, and a dart zips out to impale the frog on the stone. And that is where we'll end it tonight.
Cinematic.
Soren's so upset. Peter's like, no, 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 no.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, dude.
I'm super excited. I kind of wanted to go a bit more about it. Like this next little bit, I think it's got the potential to flip everything. So, I want to just take a bit of time, make sure I get it right. But
This is great, though. I'm happy that we're actually able to spend the money and rest up finally after just being on the road for so long.
Yeah, it's been good.
it's like
I'm
a different
playing-
side to adventuring. Yeah.
It's a very
playing-
different session, yeah.
I'm playing like a campaign. Oh, I forgot what it's called. The something heist. It's like takes place in Waterdeep.
Oh yeah, Waterdeep Dragon Heist or something. Yeah. I know that one,
Dragon Heist or something. And it's like the complete opposite of this. It's just like you like the first mission, you basically get a manor to yourself, and you can like repair it and like do all
Cool.
these like around town things.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like the opposite mood of this campaign. And
Yeah.
then I'm also doing that Pathfinder campaign and stuff. And it's just like crazy how absolutely different all
Yeah.
of them are from each other. But.
That was one of the things I was concerned with when I decided on this particular part of the world to set it in, where the population's like been dwindled to almost nothing, and there's nothing really there. So I kind of had to backpedal a little bit and say, well, there are these like pockets, and people still live there.
It's even more desolate than
Yeah, I know.
Eagle Trust and stuff.
It'd make it- yeah, it's
No, it's a really cool epic adventure though. I'm really enjoying it.
The crazy thing is that, like, I know for Sorin this is the main quest, but
Yeah.
I feel very certain it's not the main quest. Like, there's something else that's going on that we still don't know anything about.
Well, I mean, I think Craig does a really good job of just making it like there's a lot of
We just get
things going
seeds
on
dropped,
all at
yeah.
once. Yeah, exactly. There's the purple worms at the lighthouse. There's whatever the heck was fighting the Kraken. There's, the
Yeah.
Novatorium, all sorts of stuff.
But you also get the impression that none of this is normal. Like, it's not normally a world where there's just purple worms everywhere and
Right.
krakens and so it's like, okay, so what's going on? Why is there purple worms and a kraken and people turning into trees and people getting their eyes glowing blue and tentacles and
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's this good feeling of like there's like a sort of desolation to all these places, and there's like this horror element, like this kind of eerie feeling in the back of your head throughout the entire experience of like when we were like passing by the lighthouses and there is something something amiss out there. It's like, oh god.
good. Yeah, I'm glad there's like, it's difficult because I want it. There's so much that is behind the curtain that I want to reveal, but my worst fear is that I give it all away in one go, and
You're
it's,
doing
it's
such a good job.
boring. So it's funny. I was going back to some like old like the dreams and stuff that he's had before, and like reading like the little details of those, and there's like little like Easter eggs in there for things that have still not even happened. I'm like, God, I was thinking way too much about that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, there's a lot that I'm trying to keep on top of, and I'm trying to not be too rigid with it, so I can adjust it if we go different ways and things. But I'm excited for this. I mean, this has been coming. This is, as you say, it's Soren's like main arc, and I'm hoping it's gonna continue to be like interesting once we see what happens in this next piece. But and hopefully you'll see that it's not a standalone mission as well. That's what I'll say.
Oh, dude.
All right.
I want to do another session now. Can we start another one now? We're going till 4. I don't have work in the morning. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I wish. I mean, again, coming into this different setting where I didn't really know where you go. I knew you would go to the Arboretum eventually. I knew you'd probably go to the Academy, but I didn't know what to. I tried to prepare a little bit of everything so that yeah. So I feel like it was okay. We didn't do anything too crazy that I wasn't ready for.
No, I mean, it felt everything. I was like, really? Did he plan for us to go to these exact places in this exact order? It
Yeah.
seems just so like everything's just there, you know.
Yeah, I think the things that are named on the map, I've got a decent idea of, where they are, what they are, and who's there, and things.
All right,
relate
so
to
we've
that,
got to
but-
go to the places that aren't named on the maps
Yeah, well, what I
and
was going to say is,
talk to the animals.
I was going to say that, like, if you didn't like the inn that was too fancy, then I don't have another option for you to stay somewhere. So there's no third option. But yeah, I'm glad you ended up staying there. I'm really enjoying that place. I mean, it's cool.
Oh,
I like it.
that was
Wasn't sure
great.
I would go down, but I like it.
All right. Well, thank you. That was like one of our longest sessions yet, right?
Certainly one of our longest in a year. Or we
Right.
haven't had a longer one in a year. We might I remember. I mean, I was living in a different city, but we had some long sessions like way back when I was at uni.
I do remember those. I think there might have been another 4-hour one, but yeah, it's rare.
Yeah, we've had a couple 4-hour ones way back in the day.
Yeah.
In my misspent youth.
Yeah. But no, it's good. It's good to do it. Hopefully we'll get to another one. As I say, I mean, I've prepped a lot of stuff, so it shouldn't be too big an attack. I just want to like make sure this next little piece in the arboretum is
Nice.
put across right, and then
it's COVID, so it's not like any of us have anything better to do.
and where to go exactly. I'm super excited for the theater production though. That's gonna be good fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna stop the recording now. So.